enough. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up, level up. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. I wanna ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm trying to go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chilling with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby. I'm probably cocky, but hot as wasabi. I mean, if it's beef, then you know where to find me. My niggas is ready and so is my body. You should be running and telling your posse and what's in the speakers and what's in your potty. And she trying to kick it, but this ain't karate. Just keep that shit down while I'm watching Tsunami. I ain't saying I'm a super nerd, but I told you when we got involved, my idea of a perfect date is a PlayStation and some alcohol. I was role playing on GTA. I'm a good guy, but I got it all. If the world should end, be the first to leave, but the last of us acting naughty, dog. Level up, level up. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, level up. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing.
What's up, y'all? Did I do it? I did. What's up, y'all?
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? We are Trevor and Hugger back for some level 1 gaming Cogs in a Machine. This is episode 6. Today we're going to talk about what was the true next gen game for you, or overall. Make sure to be active in the comments. I am reading them. Trevor is reading them as well. We are going to, make sure you guys are entertained, hopefully. Make sure to grab some drinks, some water, because I'm going to have a water roll call a couple times. Drink your water. Before I introduce Trevor, which you guys should already know by now if you watch any of my streams or you're here on Level 1 Gaming, we met our $1,000 goal for Extra Life. Chakalaka, one of our writers and reviewers, gave the last $64. So, November 6th is the time for the 24-hour live stream. If you are part of Level 1 family and you want to, stream for an hour for 30 minutes, let us know. I'm making a schedule to put some stuff together. It means Fame has to play 1 Soulsborne. I have to play 2 horror games and finish at least 1, or try to finish 1. And I know Dallas has some things he wants to do. Baron, Citizen, and Demi are going to do some things as well. It's going to be a great day and a great night. And thank you, Chakalaka, for raising the last $1,000. No matter where you donated to, if you donated to mine, to Fame's, to Baron's, the Level 1 stuff, it all goes to our local children's hospitals, and it all goes to the kids. We don't keep anything of it. But now that I've rambled on a bit, what's up, Trevor? Tell the people who you are, because, they should know who you are, but tell them who you are.
I'm Trevor Oz. I do community PR, etc. for Winterborn. We're a studio that's an indie studio of 5 guys trying to make a a turn-based RPG called Externus, which you can see is my background. You can check out more about that on externusgame.com. And I like to talk about video games and know a whole lot about that subject. Uh, it's probably the thing I know the most about. Even though
True.
I don't know if that's if that was the life skill I should have chosen, but it is the life skill I have. Is video game knowledge. So that's what brings me here. So
Oh,
we're gonna have fun tonight's. I
yeah.
think tonight's gonna be. I know we're both kind of feeling it tonight, so
Yeah.
we're both little slightly under the weather potentially. Just one of
Yeah.
those days for both of us. So I know we're probably gonna end up veering off into other topics at certain points. So just ride it out with us.
Yep. And again, put your say comments in the what? Stay active in the comments. We will be reading them. What's up, Hustle? What's up, Citizen? What's up, Flames? Because I know you're always here. You're always here, everywhere.
And
I don't know how you
Flames
sleep,
never sleeps. He's the
right?
man that never sleeps. Flames, what are
But,
you doing, my guy?
I mean, Dallas did
Go
that
take
one
it.
6-hour stream, and he was still there.
And then I just see, and then him, and I see hustle and motivate like all around the internet, everywhere
Right?
I go. It's like,
Hustle's
man,
that boy.
you guys are killing it out there. So
So
keep doing what you're doing.
before we get into it, why don't you guys drop us your true next gen games? Tell us your if you want to go by console, you can go by console. What was like the true next gen in that console, or tell us just your favorite of all time. So
Yeah,
Trevor,
maybe some favorite games that kind of made you feel like you had a next gen experience.
yes.
Um,
So why don't we start with like the thing that is probably going to be the easiest to cover this gen coming up, or this gen, I guess now that we're already in.
so I don't know if there is one yet, really.
Could it
I
be?
don't think we've hit that point yet. Like I don't think so.
Yeah. I mean, it
As
does take a
far as
couple years.
as far as like Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, I just don't know if we're there. I mean, I think maybe Demon Souls visuals were pretty killer. So I mean, from a visual standpoint, maybe that, but could we have seen that on previous gens? Maybe.
Oh yeah.
It's it's kind of one of those hard ones, especially right now. I think we'll see. I think we'll start to see some of that stuff. Like I think the Rift stuff in Ratchet and Clank is going to show
That's
off
gonna be
what
cool.
I think that's what's really going to show off next gen, especially because the Rifts open up new worlds. So really, like the game kind of has to have like a whole other level loaded in the background so that it can do that, and that's very next gen. Um, Even though it's not something everybody would think, oh, that's next gen, but it kind
Yeah.
of is from a hardware standpoint. So
I mean, I
um,
was playing Fallen Order recently, which nobody told me how beautiful that game was, and I'm kind of mad about
oh, it's
it.
really good.
But
Yeah, it
the
looks good. I like the
so
music, the soundtrack in that game's real good.
the thing that was so like for me that was an it's a next gen if you play by console standards, but if you play on PC, you know how hard that is to be a true next gen kind of thing. But
Hmm.
I was like, man, the crawling through the tight spaces. By the way, this is a Eurogamer uh video about next gen games for PS5 and Xbox, whatever. Um, but the way they have you crawling through those tight spaces to load in the backgrounds and the next levels, but you don't notice it because you're just like, oh, I'm squeezing through this tight space. That was something that was always surprises me with, and like, oh, this is totally next gen. There's no visible loading screens unless you like load into the game or there's something like big that happens, but there's no like, oh man, they put Godfall on this list. I don't know about this list anymore. Jesus. Uh,
Yeah, I
but
mean
yeah,
Godfall looks good. It's just
it
that
does.
I don't know if I don't know if I'd quite call it that yet. Um,
Yeah, it has a long way to go. But there's so
but
many things that can qualify next gen because we've talked about this before. We're such at a fidelity rate for graphics that do graphics mean next gen? Not really anymore, to be honest.
Yeah, I think next gen's gonna. I think that at least this generation, next gen's gonna show more in the in what else you can do on the like on the outskirts of things, like enemy count, what you can see in the background, like that sort of thing. That it's gonna be hard to quantify just by graphical fidelity,
Hmm.
so to speak. So I think this generation's interesting because it's kind of almost different than any other in that sense, because we're kind of at the peak like of how good games can look, I guess, is one way. I mean, obviously, we're gonna see some of that change with lighting, because lighting is gonna get better with ray tracing and that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
it's it's a weird generation to come into for sure. Hustle and Motivate was saying for him, Spider-Man Miles Morales and Astro's Playroom were both next gen experiences, and
Wow, he's the first person I've actually heard mention Astro's Playroom.
I can see that because I know that it did a lot of cool things with the DualSense controller.
Yeah,
So from that standpoint, I can totally see that. As someone who has not played with it yet, I can't say with any firsthand knowledge. So, but I could see where someone would say that.
yeah.
So
Citizen says the only game that ever was like wow next gen for him was Final Fantasy. I don't know Roman numerals. Is that 9
it's
on
10.
PS?
It's 10.
10 on PS2.
Yeah, I can totally see
Not
that.
played 10. Oh yes, I
That
have.
was like the leap. Like because 9 to 10 was 10 was fully voiced
Yeah.
and fully 3D. Uh,
Oof.
Probably the first one to like do that in any big sense. It's crazy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's. I mean, you're right. We don't have that right now because we're not even 6 months into this new gen yet. I don't know.
yeah,
Math,
it's
math is whatever.
no, not quite. I mean, well, we're about 6 months. We're just
Yeah,
about to hit, you know, in a few weeks we'll have hit 6 months. So we're about that. But I mean, that's pretty. I would say you usually don't see the true power of it until a couple years in, at least.
yeah. You gosh dang right about that. The and I've talked about this time and time again. Don't look at my YouTube what they're recommending me because it's probably a lot of K-pop stuff and a lot of TikTok stuff. But Rise of the Tomb Raider for me, because I bought the PlayStation. What Destiny was the launch title on it, right?
On PlayStation 4.
4, yeah.
Yeah, because well, it had come out. I think it was already out,
Oh,
but it ended up being a one. I think, man, it's been
been a
too
long.
damn long. I'm pretty sure it was out before it on the previous gen,
Yeah,
or maybe it all came out at once. I can't even remember. It's been that long.
yeah, it's been a while. But I bought my PlayStation for Destiny, but it wasn't until Rise of the Tomb Raider that I was like, oh, so this is the like, man, that's the power of the PS4. Like, holy crap.
hmm
And now, I mean, the games look Tomb Raider, I played it 2 times last year and then I capped off the start of the year finishing it off for a third time. I have a problem, obviously, but it still looks good, but there's games that do look better now
Yeah,
on these consoles. I would like to see this on a PlayStation 5 or the Xbox with the updated stuff. I mean, there's not much you can really update because it is like so high fidelity and all that, but man, this would be
I could
banging.
see
Give me more Laura.
I could see some HDR, some lighting stuff go into it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I would think that would be the most major thing that could happen to it at this point.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's so there.
yeah, that's that's definitely up. And speaking of like the last generation, I would say Uncharted 4 was a big
Mm.
leap up there.
I have
Um,
it,
it
still
just
haven't played it.
like there's a difference between because like The Last of Us, the first Last of Us was just at the end of the last generation before it, like so it was the end of PS3.
Yeah.
So it looked like so that looked like a really next gen thing for PS3, but it wasn't quite there for PS4, even in the remaster. Whereas Uncharted 4 was kind of their first game to kind of get you into that next gen feel.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, what's up, G Brown? That's a name I haven't seen before. If you're new here, what's up? If it's another name by somebody else, what's up? Flame says playing
but
Killzone Shadowfall for the first time felt like it was a game that couldn't be on the PS3. I've never
I
played
could see
Shadowfall.
that.
Oh.
Like Shadowfall looked really good at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't remember a lot of Shadowfall because I just don't think it was. Honestly, I just don't think it was very memorable.
No, because I think
Um,
Killzone 2 was like was pretty much what people loved, and then I loved Killzone 3, and I thought, man, this is pushing the PS3. So, and a lot of people hated uh Shadowfall for the what
yeah,
was it?
I
The
mean, I don't.
full 4K resolution they did or whatever. The full,
Yeah, that could.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I didn't think it looked bad. I just don't think it was like
a good
a
game.
a great game. Yeah, I mean, it was all right. Like, it wasn't like broken or anything like that. It just was kind of, I guess, generic would be more of the statement there. It just
Yeah,
didn't have anything to write home about. And I mean, I mean, I was the guy that bought that, jumped over from an Xbox 360 to a PS4 at launch. So Killzone was
Jesus,
one of those where it was like, hey, I hope.
yeah.
Um,
I mean,
so
I'm kind of glad it's not around anymore. At least I can hold it in that nostalgic sense because we did get Horizon Zero Dawn. So,
yeah, yeah. From that standpoint, yeah, I agree with you. But from another standpoint, is they did a game. They did Killzone Mercenary on
oh
Vita, which
yeah,
for a handheld, you could totally say that was a next gen experience. But Killzone Mercenary on Vita was so freaking good that it's like Shadowfall is a very big disappointment from Mercenary comparatively. And that's a Vita game compared to a PS4 game. So,
which
and I don't mean visually, I just mean
but
it
like
was
step
it
up.
was a lot. It was yeah, it was just like Killzone Mercenary was just such a good game
Hmm.
that I could go back and play again and again, whereas I don't feel compelled to go back and play Killzone Shadowfall. So
Wow. Yeah, that's also if you have your PSP, Vitas, uh, and PlayStations, PlayStation 3, uh, either before the digital store shut down, which is in July 2nd, and then I think the Vitas is in August 23rd or something. Snap
yeah,
up
it's
all
like
those games you can, or just buy more physical.
yeah, I mean it's disappointing to see that the stores are being shut down. I understand it because they probably aren't getting a ton of sales off those, and it's just a step in the way of cutting those off, less they have to worry about, less they have to maintain. So I can understand that, but man, there's so many good games
Yeah,
out there on those systems.
I hope
I'm gonna
they
have to.
preserve them. That's me. I'm big
Yeah,
on game preservation.
I'm happy that they said that you can still download the games from your download list,
Yeah,
even when those stores are down. Um, at least for the time being. So
yeah,
who knows when that'll. I mean, eventually, I'm sure that won't be the case, as we've seen with the Nintendo Wii and the Nintendo Wii U stuff
yeah.
going down pretty soon.
I
So,
mean, these companies' biggest concern is always
so that
preserving their properties, and yet they're pretty much doing everything they can to make sure people ROM dump all these games.
yeah, it's like, um, I mean, people will gladly pay for this stuff if it's available. I think
Yeah,
really, and I don't know if they'll ever do it. Is they really need to just be forward thinking like Microsoft is,
well,
where
you think.
they have a way to get these games to play on their newer hardware, whether it be Vita or 6. All of those things should just play on a PS4 or a PS5. Like it just doesn't make any sense to me how these digital releases they can't figure out a way for them to play on these new consoles. Like it just doesn't make sense to me.
because they don't want them to. I mean, I got
But
one of my friends is like,
yeah,
"Hey,
I mean,
do you have like a code for like haze?" And I'm like, "What? You want haze?" They're like, "Yeah, they're shutting it down, so I might as well play it now." I was like, "Ew," but I got you. But like, ew, haze? Really? The Halo killer that killed itself?
oh man, Hayes.
G-Man Lives just did a
Uh,
review on it, and it cracked me up the entire time because I'm just like, yeah, that's what I remember. It was kind of awful.
yeah, it was pretty awful.
I'm trying to think what my
To say the least.
next gen PS3 game was. It would have to be a Final Fantasy, to be honest, because those were the ones that were just leading the way at the time. Probably
I would say a
13.
big one was, yeah, 13. I mean, 13 looked really good. It was
Very
very
smooth.
new for its time, you know. Um, I would say God of War 3
Yeah,
was probably one of the first big ones for that.
that was beautiful.
Um, I'm trying to think of what else in that. Maybe Uncharted 2, because Uncharted 1 wasn't. It looked good, but it wasn't quite to that fidelity yet. But Uncharted 2, maybe even Uncharted 3, were up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, Hustle says, I'm a bit sad that there's devs still working on PS Vita games. I mean, it's just the digital store that's shutting down the PlayStation digital store. If the devs want, I'm sure that like limited run or first press would be willing to press them. I know limited run does
So
a couple.
so the thing with the Vita is that they have to get the chips for the Vita from Sony,
Hmm.
and I think there's only so many of them in that are currently produced,
I
and
mean,
then they are no longer being produced. So pretty much Vita is kind of screwed either way, unfortunately.
there's ways to
Um,
homebrew it.
well, yes, but there, I guess there's kind of a workaround, but once the store's shut down, I don't know how that's gonna work. And this is me saying this as a legal workaround, is that cross buy games still work. So if
Technically, the
the
way is legal. It's just you have to, if you don't know what you're doing, you got to send it to somebody else or like watch a you YouTube. What is this? How's Fable?
Fable, yeah,
Never played Fable either.
um,
Never
I
had an
wasn't a huge
Xbox.
Fable. I wasn't a huge Fable person. Although I've enjoyed the little bit I've played of the Fable games, but like we could get into it, but I mean, I just remember reading official Xbox magazine all about Fable, and then being disappointed in the actual game that came out compared to it was very much a Molyneux game where he promised this, and this, and did not deliver on this, and this. So I think
Yep.
that's why I was disappointed with it, and I never, the younger person in me never forgot that. So it just kind of it never let me get into the Fable games, unfortunately. Which, but I'm hoping the newest one will change that because I'm definitely willing to give it a shot, especially because it'll be on Game Pass and I won't have to pay for it.
Game Pass
So
for the win. Game Pass for the win.
yeah, so
Hustle says
but
next gen on PS3 for him was GTA 4.
yeah,
GTA 4 still does a lot better than GTA 5, and I will stand by that statement.
it was a bigger step forward, I would say,
Hmm.
for sure. And I mean, I think GTA 5 does. I mean, it's gonna look like an older game at this point, especially because it was kind of a last of the last holdout during the last part of the generation for the Xbox 360 and PS3, and then
Hmm.
it was basically a launch title on PS4 and Xbox One. So it's going to look dated at this point. Yeah, actually, Gears of
I
War
was
Hustle
about
and
to
Motivate.
say,
Yeah,
I just put on
Gears
a
of War
Gears
is
5
actually
trailer because Gears 5. I think it was you. No, it was Gold Chain Gamers, another friend of the Level 1 family. He went through the tech specs, and the only game that I've seen that have the tech specs and like the customization options has kind of been like Gears Tactics. But
Mhm.
man, there's so much accessibility. Oh, and maybe Last of Us 2, but I refuse to play that.
I think it was Last of Us 2 and Gears were the two big as far as accessibility games goes.
Hmm.
Um, and just yeah, Gears 5 is totally that game that I think doesn't get the credit that it deserves for what it does from a graphical standpoint and just how good it looks and just how well it plays. Um,
Right?
it's a really good game. Like
Like I'm on
Gears 5,
4.
yeah, four was good, but like 5 is just 5 blows it out of the water. Like
Yeah.
I just I don't know why it just doesn't. Gears 5 just does not get the credit it deserves overall as the really great game it is. Uh,
Maybe at that time, a lot of people like Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn movie. Those kinds of people just didn't give it the time of day because they're like, why Kate? Even though I mean, I don't know the
yeah,
story.
I can see that.
Xbox, please put Gears, the full series on PC Game Pass. I will play the absolute loving hell out of it. But yeah, I'm thinking that's what it is. Because there's a lot of people, even though it was written in the story, that were upset about Kerrigan becoming the Queen of Blades in
Hmm.
StarCraft 2. It's like, but that's she was kind of the main character from the beginning, mainly.
Yeah, I really I don't understand the hate for Gears because it's just a really well done game.
Yeah,
Um, like it looks amazing. It's definitely I would say that's definitely a next gen experience. Even that might actually be an Xbox One Series X or an Xbox Series X next gen game without actually being an X. Like I can't even imagine where Gear 6 is going to be. Like that maybe that'll be one of the ones where we're going back and being like, okay, yeah,
yeah.
that's where
Boom.
they changed it up a bit. Um,
Skip all over.
but yeah, Gears 5 is just it's beautiful. Like it goes in several different environments.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one space. They did a good job of varying the environments up, and there's just so much content in that game that you can, depending on what your style of play is, there's
Mm-hmm.
something for you.
Exactly.
If you don't like multiplayer, there's a sweet ass campaign for you to play with a really good story. Um, and then if you're not so much into campaign or you want to play the game with someone else, the campaign does co-op. That has the escape mode, which is really great. That does co-op. There is
Mm-hmm.
the horde mode that does co-op. I mean, there's so much PVE content in there. And then if you really want to give multiplayer a shot, the best time to do it is with Gears 5 because it does have player versus AI in the multiplayer. So you can kind of figure out the multiplayer, go in there and try it out on your own at your own pace and not get completely ravaged by these guys that sit there and play it all day every day.
Oh my
You
God,
can
yeah.
actually figure out like how you're gonna play it and figure it all out. Like Gears does a really good job of I don't want to say of it's not hand holding, it's more like Sherpa-ing you into the experience
Yeah,
however you want to play it. So I just think they made a game that I think anybody can pick up and play,
yeah.
and I just don't understand why it just gets a lot of the crap that it gets. Like
I
it might
mean, people, man.
low key it might be the best game of the last generation.
I
Um,
would not be surprised by that, to be honest, because I've heard nothing but good. I'm still holding out that Microsoft is going to put the entire franchise on Game Pass PC. Do not argue with me, it is not on there. I don't need this right now. So I'm kind of
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
because I don't know the story, and I'm just like, okay, I could watch a recap, but I would rather just play through it myself. And I'm like, I want to play
yeah.
Gears
I
5
wouldn't
so
be
bad.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if 2 and 3 eventually came um, to PC, which is the ones that you really need.
I mean, like,
So
Yakuza's there. Come on, you could put that on there.
yeah, I think the thing is, at least at this point, is that if Microsoft does it, they want to do it. They want to do it. Like they want to go all the way.
Yeah, do it
Um,
right.
yeah, so I don't think they're gonna do what Yakuza did, where some of those ports, like I want to say, like 3 through 5 are just like kind of ports,
Yeah.
porty ass ports.
Oh
I think
God.
they want to actually like completely redo it like they did the first game. And I think we'll see it. But it's gonna take some time, and I don't know if they'll have the coalition do it, or if they'll have another studio work on those ports, or what. Like it's hard to say,
Yeah.
but yeah, um, I would like to see those games remade, uh, because that original trilogy's real good. So
I mean, it got me so hooked with the what is the first one? Judgment? Is that the first title? No, you're
so
dumb.
Judgment wasn't the first one; it was the prequel.
Ah,
That was done by People Can Fly.
I think
So
then maybe it is one. I don't know which one I played. Anyway, whatever one's on there,
it
I
might
would
be the
love to
first one. I
see.
mean, the first
Yeah,
one is on Game Pass,
I think yeah, it
because the
probably
first
was
one
the
is
first
on
one.
PC.
Yeah, I would love to
Because I'm
play
pretty
that.
sure they. Um, but yeah, a lot of people are saying like 2 or 3 are probably the best one
Wow,
of the series, and I could see where people would say that, but
5. Come
I'm
on.
gonna say 5 is probably the best game in the series.
Yeah.
Uh, it,
Uh,
I
Go.
just think a lot. I just think a lot of people are just like, if I'm not playing as Marcus Phoenix, I'm not, you know.
Yes. I mean, that was the thing
But
with when Ezio stopped being in the story. I mean, Connor was not a great character. He was I get what
yeah,
they were trying to do. He was the opposite of Ezio, but man, he was had more less personality than a plank of wood. So I understand why people
yeah,
aren't happy, but like, come on, open your mind, broaden your horizon.
yeah.
It doesn't hurt. Skull. Anyone played Kingdom Hearts 3 on PC? No, not yet. I haven't even played Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2. It was just a game I never got into as a kid. Actually, they came out when I was a little
Yeah,
bit older.
I've tried to play Kingdom Hearts,
hmm
and just can't.
It's kind of painful
I
to
get
get
into
through.
it for a little bit and just can't. Yeah, like I don't know. The first one feels very dated at this point, so it's just there's just too much,
hmm
to
And like, I'll go back
say the
and
least.
play a game. I mean, I was playing a Stalker, and that is a game that I know a lot of people love. They said that was like a next gen on PC, but man, that's
Yeah,
rough. Like, it's rough. I hope they do Stalker 2, right?
yeah,
I can't
yeah.
get over
I'm
how rough
interested to
though.
see. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that's gonna go, because that it's either gonna be real rough, or it's gonna be like, wow, look what they did to Stalker. Like, holy crap, this is awesome. It's gonna go one of two ways: real
Yeah,
bad or real good.
I hope real good. Because I mean, we were just watching that Eurogamer thing, and they had a little clip of the Stalker uh game stuff. Oh, I don't want to watch this. Uh, in-game teaser. So they had a little bit of it, and I'm so excited because I know that it can be. Oh, it's only 54 seconds. Jesus, it can be like a. It can be that like when Metro Exodus came out, like it was that bitch. It
Yeah,
could be that
hmm
bitch. Metro Exodus, I'm
yeah. It has the
not a fan
potential.
of it, but Metro Exodus is so good with the immersiveness. It's real dark.
Yeah. And when you want to talk about next gen looking games, like Last Light was definitely one of those when that
Yeah,
was
that's
coming out.
true. Last Light was
for sure.
pretty decent. I'll be honest. I played that one after Exodus. I still haven't played the first one. There's something wrong with me, right?
I haven't played the first one either, to be completely honest. So,
Oh, thank you.
um,
Sometimes the first ones, they just they ain't popping.
that's
You
true.
know,
It's very
it
true.
was my. I started typing Anthem. I don't know why I put Anthem in there. My
Huh.
like next gen uh for PC, because this is when I just built my new PC and I was like, let me test. Hey, come on, don't do this to me now. Let me
Huh.
test this system out. Um, it was Assassin's Creed Origins, because that game
Yeah.
was amazing. Is amazing still. It's beautiful.
Yeah, that was definitely, yeah. Yeah, and I mean it only got better with Odyssey.
I still have to fire that up. I'm still behind on everything.
You are behind. Come on,
I,
catch up.
you know what? Like Logan B, who's gonna be his guest article is coming out tomorrow. He's talking about his successful back journey through his backlog, but Baron is stuck in not being able to get through his backlog. I'm working through it slowly. Like, I mean, I just finished Fallen Order. When it comes to like me
Yeah.
finishing DLC on games, it's kind of hard because I'm like, I've already finished the main story. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like, I'm trying so hard. Then you got to do the reviews and all that, and then they just take your time.
Yeah.
Unless Trevor wants to write
Yeah,
a
they do.
review for level one. Just saying.
I'm good. I am
Just
good.
saying. The
I don't know if
the y'all in the
my
chat have
review days, I
any?
think, are
Nah, I think you got like maybe one or two left in you.
maybe,
It'd have to
maybe
be like
someday.
a
But
game worth it to you though.
yeah, yeah,
Do any of y'all have some more next gen? Uh, it doesn't matter the generation or a game that like felt. I Let's just say the game that was the wow in the generation, not World of Warcraft, but like you had to
yeah.
step back for a second and be like, damn, okay,
I
this
mean,
is good.
obviously, like on PC, the big, the big one for a long time was Crisis. Like,
Oh,
that was
they
like that. It was like the gold
butchered that.
standard for PC hardware, where it was
Yeah,
like, can you? Well, yeah, your computer can run Unreal Tournament 2004, but can it run Crisis? Because
right. And like
that was,
that game is does not hold up well, and the remastered butchered it.
uh, yeah. I mean, it like I don't think the game was ever like
It was never
fantastic,
great. Yeah.
like, but it was such a hardware showcase
Hmm.
that's where it stood out. It's like this is like if you really want to get the most out of your PC hardware, this is the game you're going to show off, and it was like that for I don't know, damn near 10 years almost. It feels like.
Yeah,
Uh,
pretty much. Yeah.
it probably wasn't 10 years, but it was probably at least 5 or 6.
I mean,
So
you're not wrong. It probably is 10 years because the only game that would match that I see people going in say like this is how I feel my PCs. I want to stream The Witcher 3 on ultimate settings at
yeah,
1080p. So like The Witcher is maybe not anymore, but The Witcher took over for Crisis, but
for a
2007 is
bit,
when
yeah,
Crisis came out.
yeah.
Eh,
And Witcher was 2014, I want to say. So
Yeah,
it was a good 7 years.
and I mean people
Trying
still
to think,
benchmark on
trying to think
Crisis.
what's. I don't even know what the current benchmark is really. Maybe. Hmm.
I don't know. That's a good question. You know where
That
we'll
is a
go to
good
see
question
that?
because
We'll go to let's go to NZXT, PC Builder, because they'll have like when you're what do you want
yeah,
your PC to build? PC Creator. Oh, that's an expensive ass PC. I just
yeah.
want to.
Uncharted Lost Legacy, Hustle and Motivate. Yeah, that was a great game in the last generation that that looked really good. I think it was a slight upgrade from 4, Uncharted 4, so which makes sense.
I gotta build it.
Seeing as
All right, so
okay,
at
what do we
1440,
Red Dead makes sense
yes, Tomb Raider with
to be on that
RTX
list.
on, Witcher still there.
Okay,
Like, oh, Flight Sim,
Doom
that's a
Eternal.
benchmark.
Yeah, Flight Simulator. Yeah,
If you want to put your PC
that
through a
makes a ton of
ringer,
sense.
Flight Sim, man.
Yeah.
You think Red Dead's intense? Flight Sim. I can run Red
Yeah,
Dead at a
playing.
solid 80, but like Flight Sim, man, when it wants to, it's not running above
Yeah,
20,
I've heard it's pretty graphically intensive. So, uh,
and that's on low.
yeah, so Flight Sim is probably the next crisis as far as
Yeah.
that goes. Um, but yeah, Flames said GTA San Andreas.
Oof.
That yeah, at the time, yeah, definitely. That was almost the tail end of like the Xbox, PS2, GameCube generation.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was when we got to see what the hardware could do in the long run, and that's where we first saw that. So yeah, San Andreas is definitely there. I would say even GTA in general, GTA 3 for PS2 was a leap from GTA 2 because GTA 2 went from a top down big thing to an actual open world for the first time, and that kind of
Yeah.
showed you what an open world game could do
Yeah.
back then. So
So this is another
yeah,
IGN game top as we go through because I like to have you guys watching something as well. Top 25 PlayStation 3 games. Because I do have some articles for us to go through after. But what qualifies as a next gen? Is it well, we know it's not visuals, but like, is it a small gameplay change? Is it a revolutionary gameplay change? Is it um, just something
I think
different?
it's just something that makes you think like games haven't done this before.
Dead Space 2 is that's a dang good example.
Yeah, Dead Space 2 was really good. It looked good. It played incredibly well.
Yeah, even on PC it plays. It's on. If you guys want to play it, the whole series, although I would skip Dead Space 3, is on EA Play. If you have Game Pass, you have EA Play. I think if you have Game Pass
Actually,
Ultimate, you get the Pro, which cool. There's a lot of cool games on Pro as well, but there's a lot of good games on the regular EA Play as well.
you could, and we see Bioshock Infinite here, and that was definitely I think that was almost a good next gen experience from a character standpoint.
That's what,
Um,
yeah, because I'm like,
just
what's the true next gen? Because for me, the story, it's a stylized visuals. It it'll age eventually, but the story,
but
man.
just the story and just the way that you interact with Elizabeth in
Hmm.
that game is just like it's different.
Yeah,
And I would say like BioShock even ushered in the next gen of like the PS3 360 era when the first one came out because in 2006 BioShock was a great looking game.
I mean, it
And it
still
was
is.
yeah, I mean it still looks great, but like in 2006 that was
It
like
was like,
holy
whoa,
shit.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
Um
underwater, yeah. Damn, that was such a
yeah,
good
it looked
series.
fantastic. I mean even what we're seeing like now with Heavy Rain. I mean Heavy Rain at the time was very new and different.
Heavy Rain was weird. I couldn't get into it.
I could understand not getting into it. I loved it,
Yeah,
um but that's just because it's so like I don't know. I love all those stupid David Cage games. They're so dumb at times,
yeah.
but
David
they definitely
Cage
have like
is.
their dumb. They have like the dumb schlocky like
It
thing
reminds
to
me
them.
like of a
Like
campy thriller movie.
yeah, that's kind of what it is. Yeah, and if you're into that, cool. If you're not, like, but I mean, I liked I like I was into Indigo Prophecy when that came out on like regular Xbox and PC
That
back in the day. So
Fahrenheit in
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, it
because I
was
have it as
Fahrenheit everywhere else.
Fahrenheit, and I'm
Yeah.
like, is that the same one?
Hmm.
Uh, Another
Yeah, yeah,
campy game that you could say was next gen and also revolutionary because it's just freaking weird. Is they just made a second Deadly Premonitions. That game was weird,
yeah.
but also great at the same
Oh
time.
yeah, yeah,
I don't know
yeah. There's a
how
whole
it is
lot of stuff
now.
like that. Yeah,
Metal Gear
yeah. And
Solid
even
never played or never
I was
Metal
gonna
Gear
say
4.
Metal Gear 4. At the time looked really good on PS3, especially the
It's
cutscenes.
it seems to have that what do we call it? That brown tinge of the early 2000s.
Luke saying, "Call me basic, but Red Dead Redemption 2 is the most next gen game of the past few years."
Oh, you're totally
Uh,
right with that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think with Red Dead, they
They did
totally
something
went for the
special.
movie. They went for a movie aesthetic in a way,
Oh,
where they wanted it to be essentially a story told through the visuals and the way that the camera moves and it's a very detail oriented game, you could say,
it
for sure.
some would say it's almost over detailed and over
Overdone, yeah.
animated, but I have yet to hear like an actual like bad thing about Red Dead that's not like a nitpick. I mean, I could complain about the online, but that's has nothing to do with Red Dead 2 being a good game or a next gen game. That's just Rockstar losing their creativity, like Baron said in our article on Level 1, losing their creativity since GTA 5.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously they wanted. I'm pretty sure they wanted Red Dead Online to end up being the next GTA Online.
Yep.
Um,
And they
but
could.
that
People
unfortunately
will
didn't
play
happen.
it. I play it religious. Actually, I haven't played it in a few days, but I will play that religiously if it gets more content. Far Cry
Far Cry
3.
3 was
So,
it
I, ugh, I have things
it
to
was
say about it.
they changed the way that those games told a story. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's so good. Like Far Cry 2 was different. It's not even if you play it, you wouldn't even
mhm.
say it's the same franchise. But
Oh yeah.
damn, like I feel like a lot of its Voss was great, but it's not as good as I remember. I've recently loaded it back up whenever, Ubisoft
Mm.
decides to let me back into my account because they keep signing me out every day, even though I say leave me signed in. And I'm like, damn,
Yeah, I
this
mean,
still looks good, but this is not what I remember.
hindsight is a little 2020 on that game, but I think it definitely changed the way that they were telling stories in those games
Yeah,
and opened the this weird ass gate that that they
that's
did
true.
in the next few games. I mean 4 was very very like almost too similar to 3, but like you got like 5 with the church cult stuff and then so
You can beat
we'll
4
see.
in 20 minutes?
Yeah. Hmm.
I love that shit.
Yeah. I stuff like that is actually really hilarious to me. Um, and Luke's also asking, what do you guys think of Death Stranding? I think it was destined to be a next gen game changer, but sadly didn't really break out in the way it had the potential to, especially with expectations. I would say, I mean, it is very much a next gen experience, like it, and it looks really good.
Mhm.
Like holy crap, like I mean, it's you
It's
look at Norman
beautiful,
Reedus and you're just like, that's fucking Norman Reedus.
right?
Uh, like you can like the characters look like people. Like I mean, it's very realistic in that sense. I mean, from
Mhm.
the stupid ass monster cans that you can drink out of to like
Yeah,
I think what hurts Death Stranding and why it ends up, I guess, maybe not really breaking out, I think is probably the gameplay.
yes,
Um, because it's, I mean, essentially it's, a FedEx simulator,
exactly.
like in the future. But
But
like, but I think the loop of that works really well,
yes,
and I really like that game a lot more than I should. or that I even thought I would.
I'm
So, I
partial on it.
yeah, I think it either hits you or it doesn't. Like
Yeah.
it's very much either you like that that stupid loop that it has either crawls in your skin and gets in there deep and you're just like, man, I could sit here for hours and just deliver these stupid ass packages, or it's like, why am I sitting here delivering these stupid ass packages? I don't want to play this.
Yeah.
So I think it goes one of two ways, and I think that divisiveness is why it doesn't hit for everybody. And I don't and I,
Yeah. I
but
think
that's Kojima.
it is a next game changer, but next, Jesus Christ, next gen game changer. I think it is, but I don't think we realize it quite yet. Um,
Yeah.
because it's not going to be the game itself. It's going to be the things that are pulled from the game later on, the things we can learn from the game, the
Hmm.
techniques and stuff. Just like we've been talking about Outriders since the demo came out, and I said I wish they had done what Anthem did. And you guys know I'm partial to Anthem. I love that game with all my life. But I wish they would have like a way you can drop in and drop out powers instead of having to replay a story 4 times. I don't want to play the story 4 times just to try different powers out. And maybe that's coming in the future. I don't know. We all know that game is not a live service, even though they market it as. It's what the game is going to give us. It is a game changer, just we don't know it yet. And Kojima's
Yeah,
a
I mean,
weird
yeah.
man. I love him, but he's weird.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Kojima's Kojima.
Hmm.
I think a lot of times you either really like his stuff or you don't.
Yeah,
Because I know a lot of people who just don't like Metal Gear, which I kind of sit in the middle on Metal Gear. Sometimes I like it, sometimes I don't. Just
yeah,
it depends. I mean, I haven't played through all of them. I've played a few here or there, and I've liked what I've played, but
yeah.
it's very much a hit or miss thing for me. So,
I appreciate their
so
place
yeah,
in gaming history, but I don't.
mhm,
I'm not a lover of them. Maybe I'll have to sit down and replay them all. But like, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, I can
yeah.
appreciate a game, not like it, appreciate it, but still be like, this is important to gaming history.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's plenty of games that like people like and I just don't. So,
That's true.
it's all it's all personal preference.
That's what
That's the
gaming
thing
is,
about games.
and we can. That's why we sit here and we talk. Uh, because we love gaming. We also have different opinions, but we're not gonna flame. We're not gonna fanboy. We're not gonna be those people because that's not who we are. We're just here to
Yeah,
be
we're not going to be
nerds.
like, hey, you're wrong for liking this thing. Nah, I
Yeah,
mean, you just like stuff that's different than us.
yeah,
And that's cool. Everybody's different. Everybody's gonna come to things differently. And Luke said,
exactly.
yeah, maybe it'll be one of those icons that are only recognized for their contributions years after release, and I think that could be it.
I mean, look at Mass Effect.
Just
Mass Effect is a game that the first one is okay. It hasn't aged well, but I'm so excited for that Legendary Collection. Oh my god, I hope they put it on EA Game
yeah,
Pass. Um, but most people
it'll
would
it'll get on there eventually. I don't think it'll be there day one,
nah,
but yeah,
because
it'll
they
totally
want
be
their
there
money.
eventually.
EA, come on, they
Hmm.
want their money. But look at all the stuff they pulled from that the dialogue wheel. Well, versions of the dialogue wheel because I know Mike Laidlaw at one time held the patent for that. Uh, but different
Yeah,
ways they
for it to be
told
an actual wheel,
stories.
yeah.
Yeah, the ways they told
Mm.
stories, the true like Paragon Renegade and in between that system. Yeah, other games had done it, but not quite as well. God, Red
But
Dead
I
is
I think too
janky looking.
though. But if you think about what Mass Effect is, it's a culmination of all their other games that came before. Because BioWare was doing decision making and companions and all of that way back in ball for the PC in 1998. So I
Which,
mean, it was basically it was their latest iteration, and Mass Effect's kind of where they, I guess, perfected it would be
yeah, that's a fair assessment.
the way to um
Which you guys, if you love Bioware and you love this in-depth talk, our first episode, which if you're watching this now or later, will be linked, is an in-depth dive into every single BioWare game. Their remasters done by Beamdog, which is another Canadian studio made by people from BioWare. It's the first episode. It's long. Make sure you grab some snacks for that too. But we do have an episode
Yeah,
diving
we
into
we
BioWare.
talked all about BioWare.
We talked a lot about
on
it.
on
It
our
was
love of
so good.
BioWare. Yeah, just wait until later on once I get a chance to replay all the Dragon Age games, then we get
Oh
a
my
deep
god.
dive into that.
Oh my god, boy.
So let me tell you, I've thought about it recently because uh, I'm just sitting. I recently re-downloaded the first two Dragon Age games to my Xbox,
Ooh,
and
dangerous.
I thought about it.
Do it.
But then I'm just like, man, there's other games I need to play right now. So,
True.
but
True,
but
you know.
it shall come. It shall come.
I mean, come on. Luke also says, just like how iconic films didn't win awards when they came out, I guess. Yes. You know, Shawshank Redemption has never won an award, and it's probably one of the most highly lauded films in film critic history of all time.
But I mean, you gotta look at the year it came out too. Like, there's so many. Because I'm pretty sure that was '94, and that's when Forrest Gump won, maybe.
Yeah.
So,
But it never, even till today, has never won an award. Not even like,
yeah,
it posthumously means somebody died, but like post-release has never won an award. But they'll give it to
yeah,
something else.
it's kind of crazy. Like, and it like, yeah, Shawshank was a damn good movie.
Right?
And it's one of those where it's like you see it all the time, so it's not like I guess maybe it kind of you don't think of it as like one of those movies, but I don't know. Like there was a period of time where, at least when I actually used to surf through cable at a certain time in life, where it was always on something.
Yeah.
Like I would just go past some TNT on the TV, and Shawshank Redemption would be on, and I would just stop and watch it because it's just that movie that you stop and watch because it's good.
Bruh,
So
I love. Okay. I was like, I don't want to be frozen on Master Chief's booty. I love Shawshank. I think we watched it in school a couple times just for like, I mean, I went to Catholic school, so Catholic school, if you are from the US, is way different than Catholic school for you guys. We don't have uniforms. Those are private Catholic schools, which is a whole different thing. But we watched it in school for like English and to do morality studies and all that, and I love Shawshank. I
yeah, it's such a good movie.
absolutely love it.
So good. Luke also says, maybe the thinking is too wishful, but I feel that Black Myth Wukong could turn out to be the next gen game.
Oh,
I can see
Dallas
that.
loves that game. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Like I had not heard about it until recently when Dallas was pointing it out, and
Yeah.
it's. I definitely want to check it out. I think it looks really cool.
I think that and
As long as
Bright Memory is another one. Bright Memory. It's the
yeah,
indie
even
guy. It's the Gun Soulsborne game. That's gonna be.
yeah, even what's it called? Biomutant looks really good. Like
That's true. Yeah.
there's
I
just
want to play
there's
this.
some really cool games coming out that I just hope are all very good.
Yeah. Like this game,
They
Riders
all have the
Republic.
potential.
I want to play it because I'm the only person on the level 1 like main team that plays, like, I play Steep quite frequently. I play all kinds of sports games, so I'm like, I want to play it. I want to play it. So this video is also from 3 months ago. So some of these are, I mean, Rise is already out, which is
Yeah, Rise
selling
just came out, yeah.
surprisingly well in Japan, which I'm kind of
Oh,
shocked
I'm not
about.
really. I'm not surprised at all because the other Monster Hunters have done really well in Japan.
Yeah, but
Um,
it's a hit or miss with Japan 90% of the time. Is my brain okay?
but yeah, I don't
I
know.
ain't
I don't
trying to
know how
be
I feel about
funky.
Hunter.
I
Um,
love League of Legends. I don't play it anymore because I became a really toxic asshole. But I'm so excited. They're bringing out a story game and an MMO. I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah,
I know
yeah.
what
They
I'm
have
doing.
several different games in the works, and as someone who's not into League of Legends, but like thinks that the lore and the characters and stuff around it is cool, like I'm in to check out the other stuff that they're doing for sure.
So good. And League of Legends, they make some bomb ass music. They just put out an EP, a KDA EP with a whole bunch of different artists, but like the KDA in world K-pop group, and I was, man, it's so good. Mwah. And we also know that it's not going to be like visually stunning, kind of like these Star Wars games. People sleep on Star Wars games, but man, they're funny. Uh, it's not going to be a visually stunning game, but I think it's what you pull from it that it's the next gen thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, for sure.
everybody has their own moment of like, oh, oh, I thought this was Rise 2 for a second. I got real excited. Like, they're making Rise? That game doesn't get the love it deserves. Rise was a, it was a glorified tech demo. Man, it was beautiful.
Yeah, very well. Yeah, yeah. It did look good. Like that much you can say about it. Um, it did look good.
Um,
But yeah,
Returnal
there's
is.
Returnal. Yeah,
I don't know about this game. I'm interested, but like I don't have a PS5, so I'm like not clamoring.
right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think
And
I'd be more interested if I had a PlayStation 5, but
yeah, I think so. But then it's like, do you? I just
you know
can't get with
what?
the price. They're so expensive.
Battlefield 1 was a really good looking game.
It's still
Yeah.
beautiful. I haven't played 5. I just downloaded it from EA Play, so I'm kind of interested. I don't have RTX on my card. Still rocking a 980.
Mm.
I'm a baby, so I'm interested to see what that's gonna look like. I watch
Yeah, I
Jack Frags, and I watch a lot of his comparison videos, and he's like, honestly, it doesn't really matter.
yeah,
What
I
is
can see that.
Crossfire? I
Yeah,
don't. Is that game even coming out still?
yeah it's yeah.
Uh,
The mul there I mean there's a difference between the multiplayer and the single player thing coming out for Xbox. Um
I think
I
this was
forgot about
canceled,
Evil Dead the game. Yeah, that might have been.
but
Guess
there's so
where
many cool stuff coming out. There's so much cool stuff that we've played, and
yeah.
this is probably not a. I mean, Ragnarok. All we got is a screen. It's not probably something that I can like specifically talk on with consoles because you guys know I play PC, so it's like consoles generations don't really mean anything to me. Generations is oh which or which graphics card do you need? That's
Yeah.
that's generation.
It's more of a hardware switch than the actual well, I mean I guess technically console generation is a hardware switch too, but
Yeah,
it's a more lengthy hardware switch. Like it's like
yeah,
it's a more permanent stopgap, if that makes any sense.
yeah.
Uh, so when you compare them, but yeah, it's trying to think
Man,
of any others.
ah,
Um, I would say actually Oblivion for 360
yeah,
was a big step forward. Because it was the first like big open world game like that on the 360. Um,
that's true.
and it like for the time it looked really good. I mean it doesn't it looks dated now, but like at the time it looked really good. The Oblivion gates looked really cool. Like the first time seeing an Oblivion gate, you're like, holy shit. Um,
Yeah, that's true. That was kind of terrifying if you didn't know what the hell was going on.
yeah, they did some cool stuff with it. Like the characters didn't look fantastic. I will say that about Oblivion. Uh,
Yeah,
but but
My favorite thing is
but just
to
like,
see all the lines and stuff that were left in. Because there's one, I
mhm.
think it's a guard or something, and she does her line, and then it's like, wait, let me try that. Oh, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. That's never coming out. That game is done.
Oh God,
Like that game is, it's yeah, it's not coming out at all anymore.
don't remind me.
I'll take the Darkness 3
I hope it does. That'd be interesting.
or a remaster of Darkness 1 even. Actually, you can
Yeah,
tell how old this video is because they're not calling it Rainbow 6 Quarantine anymore. They decided, not the time to start calling things quarantine.
yeah, that's probably smart. It's
I
probably
understand
for
it.
the best.
I hope that was their choice and not like how quote unquote Immortal Phoenix Rising had to change their name because Monster Energy said, oh, people will get confused with gods and monsters. Where?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was probably their choice. Like, I'm pretty sure you don't want to try to sell a game that reminds everybody of like what could possibly be the worst year of their life. So,
Maybe, maybe. But
at
this is
least I don't think that's what their goal is. So,
I mean, I hope not. Ubisoft seems to be, I mean, if it was an EA game, EA is totally tone deaf to everything, so. But Ubisoft seems a little bit not as tone deaf, although they can be. They
yeah,
really can be. This
it
is,
depends on the day and the time and what it is. But yeah,
yeah. I don't know if this is a fair article. It's PC games that already look like next gen titles, and this is from 2012. So we can talk about like if these were true next gen, because now we have the UE of hindsight
it's
and
true.
2012. So first game, Battlefield 3. I thought that was next gen when it came out
Yeah, I would say yeah.
because it also brought
Um,
Battlefield back. Because what was Bad Company, which is still probably the best Battlefield out there, was the previous one.
Probably was it bad? Maybe Bad Company 2, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Battlefield
but
3.
yeah, but yeah.
I, I don't know. I'd
I
have to
don't
fire it up
remember it
what it
so
looks
much, to
like
be
now.
honest. Yeah.
Uh, I played it like 3 years ago. One of my friends and I tried to do the co-op stuff. It
Mm,
it's definitely kind of like in that weird, you know how like the Assassin's Creed, like the America Revolutionary Pack, it has a certain look
yeah.
to it. Kind of the
Mhm.
same thing. Tons of lens flare. J.J. Abrams was present, uh, but the lighting and the gameplay is like whatever, but the lighting was like pretty on,
Mm.
except for the lens flares because our eyes are not lenses, so we
Well
do not need lens flare.
Lens flare was the thing at that time. So,
Yeah, that's
you think
true.
back to 2012 and, like, Mass Effect 3 and,
Yeah,
uh,
dang,
like,
you're right.
everybody was like, lens flare's the new thing, let's put it in everything."
Which,
Uh,
if it was a third person, I could accept it, but first person, that don't it
well,
don't
hey,
work
well,
that way.
just like Frank's Red, they put that shit on everything.
Boy, you ain't never lied. 20, I bet you there's gonna be like 4 or 5 more games in here. Arkham City, I think Arkham Knight
Yeah.
was felt more next gen than Arkham City. When Arkham Knight decided to run, though, that's
Yeah, well, I'm like, Arkham City definitely builds off of what Arkham Asylum did. And I think Arkham Asylum looked really good for its time when it came out,
hell
especially with
yeah.
the character models and stuff.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, I think Arkham City also continued that, but I don't think it would have been. I don't think it stands out enough from Arkham Asylum to make it more next gen, so to speak.
Yeah.
Um,
It was there was a definite jump in Knight. Knight was like, holy crap, this is a different
mhm,
game, but in the same franchise. Arkham City was, I mean, it was a direct continuation. So was
mhm.
Knight, but like this felt there was no major changes. Catwoman looked good though. Mm, mm.
Yeah, can't
And
argue that.
on consoles, it was locked at 30 FPS. I did not know that. How did I mean, when I was playing it on a console, I never paid attention to that, so it didn't really matter to me.
Yeah, that's not something that most console gamers pay attention to. As someone who has mainly been a console gamer, I used to not care until I actually witnessed higher frame rates on a PC, and then I was like, okay, I get it now.
What is this
So
smooth, buttery goodness?
yeah, it definitely makes a difference. We'll say that.
What's number 3? Far Cry, yeah. Far Cry felt like a next-gen game.
Yeah,
Story-wise, it's whatever, but I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like it has the, like, smallest fraction of cell shading, like, just, like, a thin black line around everything, if you really look.
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
Um, okay, I thought I was like, "Am I insane?" Like, yes, but, like, am I insane for thinking this is cell shaded? Almost.
it's not actually, but it's like it's got that kind of look.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can see it. You don't see it in screenshots, but, like, when it's playing, you're like, "Something not right here.
Mhm.
Something funky." Not quite a Telltale thing, but close. Witcher, man, I was so conflicted with the previous Witcher games. Like, Witcher 2, for what it was, I think is fantastic. I think Witcher 1 aged like milk.
Poorly. Yeah.
But Witcher 1 was beautiful, but it's not the same. If you played Witcher 2 and you played Witcher 3, and if
Yeah.
you loved Witcher 2, you'd be disappointed. If you went back to play 2 after 3, you'd be disappointed.
Oh yeah.
It is a beautiful game.
Yeah, they're very different games. I mean, Witcher 2 was a lot more methodical.
Yes,
Witcher 2's almost like a Souls-like game in a way. Um,
actually, yeah.
except you do have to plan out everything
Yep.
in Witcher. You have to plan. It's very much a what kind of like bombs and what kind of potions can I make, and literally using the right stuff for the right situation.
I mean, you do have to do that in 3 if you play on the high difficulties, but most
Yeah.
people won't
Mhm.
play on Death March.
Yeah, I mean you can kind of skate past that in 3 if you want to. But
I started my Death March playthrough like 3 years ago, and I'm still in the opening area. I'm like, why did I do this? No, I refuse.
yeah, I could definitely see that.
Like, I'm good with playing it, normal. The only game I'll play on Insane or Nightmare or whatever difficulty is Mass Effect, because or Mass Effect 2, because give Garrus a sniper rifle, that's how you win. But I know that game with my eyes closed. But man,
Yeah.
I thought I knew Witcher until I'm like, let me put that hard mode on, and like, I'm good. You know what? I'm good. Crisis, of course. Wow, they say the Crisis series. Oh, okay, for what they're talking about. I didn't like
Hmm.
3. I mean, I liked it because there was a bow and arrow, and
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
bow and arrow. But I think we've also
yeah. I mean,
established
yeah,
that the whole series has never been great.
they were okay. They were again, they were more hardware to show off your hardware than anything else. Like, I mean, that's what the Crisis games were. Like, they were all right, but
Mm,
like they're not like, man, you really need to go play Crisis. It's more like, no, man, you should see what Crisis looks like.
yeah,
Was more
that's
the
uh. uh ooh, it would be a good. It's no, it's not current. It's PlayStation 4, but is a great example and what could be done so well if it's ported to the PlayStation 5 and Xbox is Alien Isolation. I think that game is so good. Like the AI is so good. It maybe boosted a little bit more on the next gen, but then you get the DualSense controller and all the kinds of things you can do with that. Oh my god, that'd be terrifying.
yeah. Actually, you saying that just makes me think that Halo Halo was the next gen experience.
Every
Halo One.
Halo. Yeah.
Um, especially Halo One. I mean, it changed. Uh, the way it changed the way you played a first person shooter on console, and
Hmm.
like the overall AI. If you play that game on Legendary, the AI is so good and so smart. Well, even on normal, it's smart. It's just
Hmm.
it's just easier to get through it, even though it's smart. But yeah, the positioning of the enemies and how the enemies know to react to what you're doing is just super well done in Halo, and that's something that made it a true next gen experience back in 2001.
So it's, I think what we're pulling away from is the next gen does not mean graphics. It can, because there is
Yeah,
major leaps.
and I mean at the time, Halo was like top tier as far as
Hmm.
graphics go too,
Hmm.
but I mean
It's the
over
little
time,
things.
obviously that's changed,
Yeah.
but yeah, but at the time it was definitely it was a looker.
I mean, still is a looker. You have to look at it with nostalgia, though.
Mhm.
Skyrim, does Skyrim have a generation anymore?
We are Skyrim.
I
Um,
mean, you can play it on your fridge, you can play it on your phone. There's not a place you can't play Skyrim. You can probably play it on your calculator.
Skyrim's almost 10 years old. Just think about that. Came out in
Skyrim
2011.
Skyrim came out when I graduated high school, so
Don't tell me that.
I graduated in 2011.
Man.
You're only as old as you feel, and right now, let's feel Skyrim old. About 2011.
It's
Uh,
true.
Flame says Alien Isolation is dope and uses your microphone too. Yes. Did you know how many
Yeah.
people, streamers, did not know that? Which cracked me up. Like, oh, y'all better shut
You
the
know
hell
what?
up.
You know what? Stuff like that was stuff that was in that was almost it was introduced in like previous games because you look at the multiplayer in Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, where people could hear you if you were close to them, but not any other time. So
Ah.
uh, it was so awesome. It was so awesome, especially because they did the whole spies versus mercenary things.
Mm.
So you could literally, as a spy, come up behind this mercenary, grab him, and then whisper in his ear,
Oh,
and
that's
then break his
creepy.
neck. Like it was so awesome. I
Oh,
loved it. Like you would, and it was the only other time because you could hear them talk to you back after you did that, and you would just hear them screaming as you like broke their neck. Like, uh it was
different
man,
times, man.
it was so cool back in the day.
You gotta
The things that
wonder
they did.
if they have a patent for that. That's why, like the Nemesis system, we've never seen it again.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they haven't tried to do something like that in another Tom Clancy game. Um,
Yeah.
I really am shocked, but yeah, that multiplayer was so cool at the time. It felt so revolutionary, and then like it's the fact that it's not still going on in something is absolutely insane. But
I
yeah,
don't
that's
know if
the
we'll ever see something like that again. Because could you imagine the kids today being in those old Black Ops 2 lobbies? They would have died. Like, we were savage back then.
yeah, that's true.
So I can understand why they don't have something like that now. But man, I miss that because there was so many. Oh, I would whisper so many things in people's ears.
But
It would be so
there's
weird.
the but also what Flames is talking about with the microphone use and alien isolation, they had stuff like that in Splinter Cell Blacklist
Hmm.
for the Xbox. If you had a Kinect, it would like literally with your Kinect, if you were too loud when playing Splinter Cell, the enemies could hear you.
Jesus.
So you had to stay quiet. So I mean, if you had an asshole roommate that would come in and be like, "Oh my god," and it would alert the enemies. I mean, it's they did Man, like a lot of people can shit on the Kinect for a lot of the stupid games that were out for it, but like some of the coolest stuff they did was with that Kinect and with the microphone, like because that had voice commands. Mass Effect had voice commands.
That's true, yeah.
Uh, Ghost Recon had voice commands.
That's gotta be,
Um,
man, I can think of like in the modern era how many privacy laws that breaks. And I'm just like, oh, now I see why some of this stuff isn't around anymore.
but
Why?
literally, but that brings it all back. Skyrim had
Ugh.
voice commands. You could yell "Fus Roda" and it would
Mm-hmm.
fucking happen. It was awesome.
You
Um,
can do it on PC, but you gotta like there's a mod and stuff you gotta put in. That's
yeah, I was gonna say you could
cool.
probably mod it to put it back in, but
Yeah,
man, just to have that ability just natively on an Xbox with a
that's
Kinect,
yeah.
like it was man, it's so cheesy and corny, but it was so awesome too. Like it was so much fun, especially because it actually worked. And you're
Mm-hmm.
just like Fusro da, and then it just blows enemies back. Like you're just like, yes, I am the Dovahkiin. Like
Well, that's like what Luke was saying. It won't be until a few years that we, just like now, how we're reminiscing how good it was, that we'll be like, "Ah, you know what? That should come back, or that needs to come back,
yeah,
or that needs to be re-implemented."
yeah. I don't even care. I don't care what any of you all say. Connect was awesome,
Connect was
and
off.
that's all there
Connect
is
is
to it.
that camera is so revolutionary. They use it in medical fields today still. Like
Yeah.
Connect camera, because it doesn't use like how the PlayStation camera does or how these cameras do. It uses a dot matrix, which is a whole bunch of different.
Mm-hmm.
You know what it looks like, but that,
It uses IR. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah. The
like,
bit. Yeah. You can tell the whatever Paranormal Activity movie that was that had the Connect in it, where
oh yeah,
it had the.
ain't there like 6,000 of those by now? God.
Yeah, it was like 3 or 4, I think, that did the Connect one
Ugh.
where they showed ghosts with the IR receiver.
It wasn't
Um,
until this year, like 2021, that I learned there was more than one. Because I only watched the first one, then I'm like, I'm out. Like, I'm
I
good.
literally the only one I ever saw was the one with Connect, like, and that was because like I know like, and it wasn't because of Connect. It was just one of those things where it's like
You
I think
caught
my
it.
friends were going to a movie,
Ah,
and they were
yeah.
like, "Hey, you want to come?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, whatever." Like, and I just happened. It just happened to be that one that had the Connect in it, um,
I
to
mean,
where I could geek out and be like, "Ah, the Connect, it's infrared. It's gonna see the ghosts. Oh my god!"
but a
You
lot
know?
of paranormal people do, or paranormal investigators do use Connect in like in real life, and it's weird. I'm
Yeah.
like, damn. Do you know
Which
what
makes
kind
sense
of dumb
because
stuff people did with that?
which does make sense because it does use like the IR receivers to map out what's
Hmm.
going on in a room. So, yeah, it's great technology. Um, even though it wasn't, I just maybe a lot of developers just didn't know how to use it properly.
Yeah.
Would be the way, and I mean honestly, it's hard because you're trying to think up a game that'll only work for one console, one piece of hardware,
Yeah.
and then trying to get people to adopt, like, it's rough, like that's not easy for anybody to come up with, but like I'm all on board for the voice command train, and if they want to bring that stuff back,
Hell yeah.
like I'm into it. A lot of
Hell yeah.
games did it just with the headset, and a lot of games could still do it. Like Rainbow Six Vegas had voice commands, and it was only through your headset. So you could totally bring that back. Totally have a lot of fun with it.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I'm all for it. Like, I love stupid shit like that. I love looking like an idiot just sitting there telling my Xbox, like, I just remember the command I used the most in Rainbow Six was open, breach, and clear. So
I've heard
it
that
would
one a
tell it
lot.
would yes. So the guys would go up and then they'd kick the door in, throw a smoke grenade, and then clear out the room. So it's there's some cool shit in that. Um, and there
But
goes my little rant about connect and voice commands and all that good stuff.
I mean, This is the whole point. It's to sit and reminisce because there is a topic I want to get into eventually, and it's the debate of the base versus pro or like enhanced consoles. And because I got some thoughts
Mhm.
and opinions on that, a
Yeah.
lot of thoughts and opinions, but that's not today. If you want to see more, yeah, if you guys want to see more, you also let us know in the comment section. We do go back and read these, and we're reading them now. But if you want to see us cover something, you can also hit us up on Twitter. They are under our down there below our heads, so we can build our list. We got a pretty hefty list, but we're always looking to expand more. Sorry, I was trying to take care of a comment that popped up. Some spam. We don't deal with spam here, people.
No spam here.
Don't be a don't be that person. Uh, okay, yeah. Next, but Skyrim, it's ethereal. It doesn't have a gen anymore to me. It's
Yeah, it's been I mean, they released a version of it on Alexa, so
oh
there
god,
you
I
go.
forgot about. I thought that was like a horrible dream I had.
It wasn't.
Oh, kill, man. You know, I re-downloaded Skyrim for from Bethesda for Game Pass, even though I have it. Um, but I will be playing it on Game Pass just so I can get those achievements and be like, wow, I finished Skyrim because I finished it once, and then I'm like, no, I don't need to finish it, and then I just started putting mods in, and then it got out of control.
Yeah.
Like, it took a left turn at the Albuquerque station when it should have taken a right, and it's and mods and PC.
What? Yeah, that's the downside of mods. Is like once you start mods, you just keep on seeing what else can I do,
Hmm.
and then yeah, it just ends up not being the same.
Or
But
sometimes you gotta put mods in to save the game. I'm looking at you, CD Projekt Red. I had to put mods in to rebind all the controls for Cyberpunk because they were bound to different keys, and then have a mod. Although I am downloading that 1.6 or 1.2 patch right now, so if you see the internet being funky, that's what it is. It's that patch going in. Uh, I'm hoping it fixes a lot of the stuff because I do want to get back into Cyberpunk eventually.
yeah, I know that. I know it's supposed to fix a bunch of stuff. I will. I think I'm still on the I will wait train.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's not worth it
for
right
for a
now.
while for it. Yeah, I think I'll wait for like next holiday when it's on sale, like really low, and then I just grab it and it's like, oh, this is good now.
Hmm.
Hoo-ha!
Uh, Hitman Absolution. I don't know if that was next gen, but I would say the new Hitman. Totally.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about it before with the new Hitman how the way that it has basically become a platform for open world stealth action
Hmm.
is really cool.
And the
Um,
business model of just if
yeah,
you have the game, you can put the maps in. Man, they don't get enough credit for that.
yeah, it's really cool. Uh, they've done a really cool job with that. So yeah, I would say yeah with that. But yeah, I don't know if I would say Absolution was in hindsight very next gen, but
It was next gen looking, but I wouldn't say yeah, it's like a full next gen experience because
yeah,
man, I think Blood Money's better than Absolution. I did like where
I
they went
agree.
with Diana, but yeah,
Yeah, Blood Bunny's definitely a better game.
Blood Money. Oh,
I
those
didn't
games are
dislike
always on sale.
Absolution, but
Yeah,
yeah.
it is what it is. It was a necessary step
Hmm.
in the
Hey, it got us to where we're at now, where Hitman is a really great platform, essentially.
right?
So, so yeah.
Man, I just can't get over like I watch Achievement Hunter play it because I still haven't gotten Hitman 3. I have the gaudy edition of Hitman 1. Uh,
Mm,
but man, there's just talk about a game that play however you want. You'll be punished
yeah.
for it if you do play however you want sometimes, but play however you want. I thought
Yeah,
Assassin's Creed was when they brought it in like Unity was, oh wow, that's cool. Play however I want. I don't have to like stealth this at all. But man, Hitman. Talk about player agency. Jesus.
yeah, I really like they're a couple years old now, but like when like around a bit after the first Hitman came out, um, Giant Bomb would do videos where they would literally have scenarios that they would pull out of a hat of how you have to kill a guy with what weapon, with what costume, um, that sort of thing, and they'd pull
Doesn't
them out of the hat, and then basically them trying to do it were some of the most entertaining videos I've ever watched in my life. So
doesn't that have it
uh,
built in now too? It has like a built-in randomizer.
they may have done that, yeah, and it if
I
it
think
is built in now because I haven't played 3 yet.
yeah,
It is completely because of Giant Bomb that it is built in there like that.
because I know Achievement Hunter. I don't know if it was or no, not Achievement Hunter. Behind Xbox, they used to do that in Hitman One, the randomizer stuff. And I was
Mm,
like, this is cool.
yeah,
This is nice.
yeah. It
Adds that
it was
replay.
just it was always just fun and entertaining, um,
You gotta have
and ridiculous.
Hitman. You can only play so much if the
Hmm.
missions are all the same. But you put a
Right,
new way to do it, man. You got infinite replayability right there.
100%.
Sorry,
What do we got next on this list?
taking care of stuff on the back end. That's what she said. Just Cause 2. I always forget those games exist.
I do too. I just never they never really clicked with me.
They're weird.
Not that they're bad, but I just never.
They're different. They're a
Yeah, they're
true sandbox game.
yeah. It's like it's the part of GTA that I don't pay attention. Like the whole destroy stuff and blow stuff up side that that I
Yeah.
just never really like. I guess that I got that out of my system in GTA 3 and like never really looked back. Uh, so I know they're fun. Like a lot of people find them fun and stuff. And I can totally understand that being able to just like you could hook stuff together. Like it has like that whole physics system that's ridiculous, like
Yeah.
that sort of thing. So like I can understand why people get into these games, but
It's just
and
the way
yeah,
to blow things up, man.
yeah, exactly. And I remember two being the standout for that. So
Hmm.
um, yeah, it makes sense that that it would be on this list back in 2012 for sure.
I think I have. I think I have two for sure, but I think I have three or four. I think Epic was giving it away at one point,
Hmm.
and I haven't started it up because I'm just like I'm with you. Like I'm kind of over the blowing it up and not really progressing in the story
Mm,
anymore. I just want to do story and get it over with.
yeah,
Which you want some good story, some good visuals. I don't know which version it is. I hope it's not the remake, but GOG is giving away 13 right now. If you're in my
it's not
Discord,
the remake; it's the OG.
which is even better. If you're in my
Yeah,
Discord, I've dropped the link. Uh, if you want the link, tweet at us. But man, that game. Mm,
yeah. GOG giving away the first 13 for free. Yeah,
that's
I was like, cool. I will add this and do it. You know what? Max Payne 3 looked really good.
I still haven't played through all of
Uh,
it.
but like look wise, like yeah, I would agree that it was definitely a next gen looking game, especially at the time. Just the character models and the
Yeah,
expressions on the faces and stuff,
I think
like
people also
yeah,
forget that's a Rockstar game.
yeah. I think people do because well, the first two were published by Rockstar, but they were made by um,
Hammer.
why is my mind is blank, but the same guys who did Control and Alan Wake.
A Remedy.
Um,
505.
yes,
It's like
Remedy. It
my
wasn't
brain is just
505. It
gonna
was Remedy.
my brain's
Remedy
spitting stuff
developed the
out.
games, but I'm pretty sure 3 was the first one that they didn't do.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think that was like a
so,
Rockstar Vancouver, Rockstar North or something.
hmm yeah.
Dang.
So, but yeah, originally a Remedy franchise. Max Payne, and I think that's why a lot of people forget about Max Payne 3.
Which is a
Um,
shame. Because Max Payne
yeah,
3,
it
from
was
what I've
still really
played,
good.
it's depressing as shit. But if you know the Max Payne,
Hmm
and I'm not talking about the Max Payne movie with Mark Wahlberg, that was, I don't know what that was. It was a fever
That's what
dream,
real depression looks like.
right? They're good. They're depressing, but they're good. I
Oh
mean, they're
yeah, I mean,
GOG, they're always on sale.
yeah, like Max Payne as a character is completely fucked up.
God.
From seeing his wife and kid get killed
Yep.
to him constantly popping pain pills,
Oh
and
God, yeah.
I mean,
That
there's
poor man.
there's a lot there under the surface. Uh,
That's a
but
good. You got to be in a
overall,
headspace to play that, though. That's a
oh yeah, but
turn
they're
a
good
light on.
games. Like they're all just good games.
Mm.
And 3 visually looked really stunning for the time.
Yeah, they made the weird location that is Brazil. I'm not gonna say anything negative about Brazil, and made it look like what it made it look fantastical, and the
Mm,
fact that you're seeing it from the rich side, but it also made it grounded, kind of like a Wildlands. Wildlands was
yeah.
took Bolivia. I know a lot of people had problems with Wildlands, especially the Bolivian government, but that game you cannot say that is not beautiful at some point.
hmm
Man, that game
Yeah, I
is.
agree.
I'm never gonna be able to finish that one.
Oh, it's so like
So
I've
much to
started it.
do.
There's just a ton of stuff in that damn game. It's like ah,
And if us
it
who
is
play
the
Assassin's Creed are going, that's too much to do, you know you have too much.
yeah yeah. It's not only that they also released like 10,000 big DLCs for it too. So
That's true.
uh,
There was the Predator, there was the Sam Fisher. There's a couple things.
well, and those were in the newest. Like that wasn't even Wildlands, I don't think, because Wildlands had like
Yo, no, those were in Wildlands too. Yeah.
were they? Because oh
Yep.
man, because then Breakpoint also had a Sam Fisher one, and
Yep. There was a Predator in Wildlands. There was the Sam Fisher. There was a couple other Ubisoft like title crossovers. They've done them in both games
yeah,
because I refuse to play Breakpoint. I played it during beta and
it's
ugh,
I would say it's not bad now.
man,
I would
I
say
was
it's
scarred for that game. Can't.
but
It's just
but yeah,
one of those titles. And Metro.
I could see that at the time.
I'd say Last Light. I want to
Last
read
Light,
the
yeah.
books.
I mean, this was man. There's always so many books where like I want to read these,
That's
but I
true.
just never get around to reading books.
Ugh, God, you're not wrong there.
I like the closest I get to books is comics, but
Yeah,
and that's because like they're easy reads. Like I can take 10 minutes and read a comic book. Whereas I have a hard time sitting there for 4 hours to read a book. Uh,
that's true. And since we can't travel, it's not like we just have a place to sit and read.
yeah,
Miss traveling.
yep,
Not that I would
yeah.
ever like fly, but like going to like the little places here, like going to the mountains. I haven't been to the mountains in so long. I'm like, I'm gonna go crazy. Crazier.
Yeah. Yeah, I've flown a few times, and I would read during flights, but I would read comics during flights. So
Nothing wrong with that.
mostly,
Stephen
yeah.
King was my
So
boy during flights. So what is this? This is oh god. Usually I don't mess with Kotaku, but we're gonna go through some of their next gen games. Make sure to leave us your thoughts uh, and opinions in the comment section below or on the side, wherever it is, right where you're watching. If you're listening now or later, uh, thank you. This will also be up for you to listen on podcasts wherever they're available. But let's get into this last list because you guys know I like my list. I have a problem of
List it up.
next gen games. This was from
Sort of.
2000 and how do you guys rate your date? Yeah, 2009, right? September
Okay.
30th.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah. This
ours
was
is
like
like
so.
month.
2009 was about halfway through the 360 PS3 generation.
Yes. So next gen games, Super Mario. Yeah. Yeah. 64, man.
Yeah. 64 was a huge leap forward. Especially thinking of Super Mario World, it was the first real 3D Mario, and it was kind of the first big 3D platformer. So,
Yeah.
at least the first one that did it right,
Yeah.
that I can remember. I mean, I don't remember any before it, but
Uh, yeah. They've been
trying to
lost
think.
to
But
the
I mean,
halls of history.
yeah, like there might have been one, but yeah, I mean Mario 64 is one of the best Mario games of all time. I mean, it still continues to be one of the best platformers of all time.
Oh
So
god. It's
it
still
still holds up.
the fact that they still actively have it in speedrunning, which
Hmm.
speedrunning is a whole different thing, but they actually have an active competitive scene and it's updated like once a week is
Hmm.
saying something. The game is it's older than me. No, 93?
No, that was 96.
96. Oh, so I was 3. Jesus.
Yes,
Woo. Long time ago.
I
Dead
was
Rising.
10.
You were old.
So Dead Rising, yeah, you could say that it was a little next gen. First of all, Dead Rising was the game that literally made you go buy an HD TV at the time.
Wow, really?
Because if you did not buy an HD TV, you could not read the text on the screen. Because Capcom did not know how to do that yet. Um, and they basically made it all so that if you weren't playing it on next gen, the text was way too small and hard to read, uh,
Now
which
I
was
did
a
not
big
know that.
problem. Yeah, so luckily this was around the time where I had gotten an HD TV. However, my first HD TV did not have HDMI. This was completely with component cables, which were the red, blue, and green, along with the red and white for audio.
Those were the good old
That was
days,
that
man.
time period. But it was also before the Xbox 360 had an HDMI port, which would not be added to the console until the Elite version,
Ooh,
a year or two later. I think that might have come out in 2008, maybe, if I remember right. But yeah, so that was the state of games and hardware at the time. But
Jesus.
yeah, Dead Rising did that little bit of a screw up. Um, but it also did the thing where it's like there are way more enemies on this screen than have fit on a screen before.
Hmm.
So it was really cool in that aspect where it was like you are literally fighting a sea of zombies,
Yeah.
literally.
Kind of like a Unity where, yes, they didn't need it, but running through France while in the middle of a revolution and there's whole crowds blocking the streets was really cool.
Mhm. Yeah,
Dang.
yeah. It was Dead Rising was really good at the time. Um,
Now
it's
that's a good debate. Dead Rising
um
made you buy an HD TV, where today's they say, oh, you should buy a 4K, but you really don't need it.
I don't think we're there yet. I do not think we're there with 4K to where it's like, yeah, you should go buy a 4K TV.
Yeah,
I still haven't gotten a 4K TV.
me either.
Like I'm about to upgrade to a Series X, and I'm very tempted to like get a cheap 4K TV, but I also just don't know if I want to get a cheap 4K TV
Yeah,
yet. So like I'm not in a hurry.
yeah,
I haven't decided on that yet.
because we're at
Um,
the plateau, like we are with graphics. We're at a plateau where it'll
Yeah,
work
it's
with what
like,
you have.
yeah, it'll work with what I have. But the same, like, I will say one thing, my buddy Tim, his mom lives next door to me. I was over there chatting with him probably like this was before COVID, so like about a year and a half ago probably.
Jesus.
But in there, his mom has a 4K TV, and we were watching shit. What was it? High Fidelity, the Hulu version of High Fidelity,
Oh wow.
uh, and it was in 4K, and it was literally the first time I'd seen something in 4K, and it looked so weird to me
Yeah,
because like
right?
I'm like looking at it, and I'm like, it's like
Something's not right.
it almost looks like real, but it's like weird. Like I couldn't like that's all I could describe it as because I'm just like it's just like because I'm not used to this. Like I'm like
Yeah.
it was almost in a way like I guess it almost had the uncanny valley thing of where it was almost off putting.
Oh
Um,
God.
but like I'm just like this is just I think it like I said it's just because it's so strange. Like Flameser said, 1080p is blurry, and maybe that's what it is. Like the fact that it wasn't blurry, maybe that's what threw me off, and I was just
Maybe.
like, oh, um, But like it's just
It's different.
I mean, yeah, like. Well, I mean, I'm a kid that's worn glasses most of his life, so I guess maybe I'm used to everything being blurry,
Same.
to a certain extent. So, you know, maybe maybe my poor eyesight is to blame for that. To where I see when something is not blurry, it's like this doesn't feel right. you know. Uh,
I I I'm with you right there. It's like I wear glasses. Everything's blurry.
yeah. So it was a weird feeling, but eventually I'll get a 4K TV.
Yeah. I don't think I mean if we're barely at the point of 4K, we are nowhere at the point of we need an 8K or a 6. You know how expensive an 8K TV is?
Oh,
Remember when
and it's
those
not. And
giant
the thing is,
projector TVs came out and those were like 10 grand? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's because these things go down in price with adoption.
Mhm.
4Ks are just getting to that price point where it's like, okay, now I can get a cheap one.
Mhm.
Like 8Ks will not be cheap for a long time because now that people have 4Ks,
Yeah.
there's no reason to upgrade that. Like
Yep.
it's all the difference, at least in the human eye, is going to be like very minuscule. Like I don't see I don't understand why these big tech I realize these big companies I guess need something to push, but
Yeah.
because they need something new,
Of
but
course.
it's kind of like
Like
I
stop.
just don't think yeah like I don't think that new thing is 8K like
No.
you know
Especially like I've my main monitor is a BenQ, it's a 1080, and my other two monitors are Samsung. They're like office monitors for paperwork because that's what I
Mhm.
have on them 90% of the time is paperwork, and then my drawing tablet is different. Like I only need one monitor. It's 4K,
yeah
which they want you to have all like you upgrade. Okay, I can spend $300 on one monitor. I can't spend $300 on three monitors. I gotta pick and choose.
yeah
It's
yeah
people just don't have money. There, nobody has money during COVID, right? I said
right
it, COVID, big
and
bad COVID.
Flame says, "I'm exaggerating, but I do believe getting a good 4K display is worth it now." Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm getting to that point. Like, I mean, I've had my 1080p TV for. I'm trying to remember when I got that TV. It's probably
10
been a
years?
good 10 years. So
Yeah. Like
so I
it's
mean,
definitely
it's
worth it,
yeah,
but there's other things I'd rather spend my money on first to make it worth it. Like I want to get a new graphics
hmm
card so I can actually see 4K. Doesn't matter if my graphics card doesn't do 4K if I get a 4K
yeah,
monitor.
and the only reason I'm even considering it is because I'm getting an Xbox that would take advantage of it.
Mm.
You know,
Trevor's gonna
but
be a pimp in this with his 4K.
but at the same time, I could also use a new desk
Yeah,
And you know,
there's other things.
which yeah, so it's like I mean I know I have my as the kids would call it, my stimmy coming.
You
Uh,
got that stimmy.
and
You
and
balling
that's
out.
how I'm gonna, you know, that's how I'll get that sweet new Xbox. But do I also want to spend a couple $100 on a TV too? I don't know.
Mm.
Um, when I'd much rather, get like a desk,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and some other things. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see when the time comes. I should have that in the next couple days. So we'll see how easy it is to even find a freaking Xbox, let alone do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, look at the pirate in the Discord. He's been trying for like 3 weeks now. Still nothing.
Yeah, that's the thing, and I think I want to say I think the PlayStation 5s are more in demand, so
Y-
hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to find an Xbox than it is to find a PlayStation. Um,
Yeah.
but we'll see. So I figure once I actually have the money,
Yeah.
I will turn on my notifications for Wario 64 and
Yeah.
and let
Don't forget
and
Fat
just
Kid
go from
deals.
there. But and Flames is saying upgrade that sound setup. Actually, yeah, I was that's the other thing I'm thinking about is getting a new headset.
Hmm.
Um, so
That's
that's where my
yeah.
but I don't know what I want to spend on a headset because like I see these good headsets that are like $300. I'm just like I don't want to spend $300 on
Yeah.
a headset. And so I'm thinking about maybe grabbing that new Xbox headset that's $100 because it would suit what I would want it for.
Yeah. I've heard
Um,
good things about
and
it.
yeah, and I think the really cool thing is being able to connect it to your Xbox or your PC plus
Hmm.
your phone at the same time
That's
is
cool.
awesome. So I mean, I'm always down to try something like that
Hell yeah.
because I mean there are definitely times where I'm just like, man, I wish I could like listen to like a podcast on my phone while I just have the audio of the TV coming on
Oh,
through through the headset. So, but yeah, right now
audio as
that's
well.
not. Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. So, um, definitely have some ideas of what I'd like to do. It just depends on what other extra money I would be able to spend. So
Exactly.
we'll
Because
see when the time comes.
gotta gotta be real. Who knows when we'll come out of this
Yeah,
quarantine? So you can't spend all your stimmy right now.
yeah, and so
Yeah. Headphones over headset. I don't care either way. I did order myself some in-ear monitors. They should be here tomorrow because wearing a headphones for hours on end, my little ears hurt. So I need to give them a break. I've been getting headaches uh, on after I do the podcasts during the week. So I'm like, I need to give my head a little bit of a break.
yeah,
Uh,
and I can see that. Yeah, I mean, what I'm wearing now are like headphones that I mean they're good quality headphones. I bought them super cheap when as an employee when I worked at Radio Shack.
oh,
So
wow,
they
hit me in the
they are
nostalgia right there.
I mean but they're very good headphones.
Hmm.
Um they were just, cheap for me because I was an employee. Uh
Hmm.
so I was an employee and we were going out of business. So I
Mine
got
as
them
well.
stupid cheap at the time. So um
Well, these
but
Astros that I use, I got
now
for
that I
free
don't
with.
have that benefit,
Oh yeah. Well, you never know. Maybe Radio Shack
yeah.
will come back. I mean, there's the source, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
there's still a couple around, but yeah, I don't think they're gonna give me any discounts anymore because I don't work there. But uh,
But you're handsome.
if
They
only
can
if
give you
only the world
discount.
worked like that.
I mean, for some people it does,
It does work
fortunately.
for some people, yes. But you
Uh,
said you got your Astros for free.
yeah, the air mile points.
Okay.
So if you have your credit card, if save up those air miles, or not even your credit card, if you have an air miles card, make sure you always get your air miles. And then I think it took me like 2 years to save up enough points, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting me those A50s because those were $500 headset, and I'm not paying for that. The air miles, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I spent more on the stuff buying stuff to save up enough points, but I also
Right.
it was like food and like important stuff. Because I used to use my Turtle Beach headset and Steel Series headset, and I was like, okay, but yeah, I need to. They give me headaches because they're so tight on my little ass head, and I got little ass ears, so I got little baby
Yeah,
ears. I can't help it.
see, that stuff doesn't bother me. I got a big head, so I don't know. It doesn't. I could wear this thing all these headphones all day and have
You
it not bother me. So
got a big ass brain between those big ass ears, then. Damn.
I try.
Oh, the next Oblivion, Fallout 3. Uh, Man, out
Yeah.
of those two, which one would you say is the more like, boom, next gen? That's hard,
Mm, uh, yeah.
right?
Uh,
Because they're so different.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because Fallout 3 was like it looked good at the time, but it's also very like brown. So it's like,
Well, you ain't lied.
whereas at least Oblivion had that pop of color to it. So it's hard to pick one. I mean, not saying Fallout 3 didn't look good, but it did.
It's aged.
Yeah, yeah, it has. Yeah, it
There's
has.
thank God for PC because there's mods now where you can. People have gone through and recolored everything. Thank you, people that do that. But man, yeah, it's very brown.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think overall they were both pretty innovative as far as world design and stuff like that. Um, moving in the world of stories and the storytelling aspects and stuff like that, like
And letting people play as player agents.
whatever they, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like they both still hold up too. I mean, I've played Oblivion recently and it still holds up. So
Now, Oblivion or Skyrim,
that's hard.
right? Because there's same franchise, different games.
Yeah, I think Oblivion. I mean, I think Skyrim might have better gameplay,
Mm,
but like there's a lot in Oblivion that I just like, from the setting and everything. I think is better in Oblivion. Um, I don't know. That's tough. It's too hard to call. There.
yeah. Because I mean, Oblivion his focus is on the Daedra, but Skyrim, his focus was on Alduin. So
Yeah.
I've never
Yeah.
met
They're.
two games in the same franchise that are so vastly different.
Mhm.
'Cause even Morrowind is way different too.
Yeah, they've always done a good job of that, of making their series feel different. And the and the cool part now is that they've thrown all of that into Elder Scrolls Online. So, uh,
Man, ESO is so good.
yeah,
Like,
that's the true. There's your next gen experience, Elder Scrolls Online.
and you know what? You're 100% right there. Because uh, Jenna Marbles, who is OG YouTuber, she doesn't do YouTube anymore. She walked away last year, I think. Um,
Yeah, I
she
remember her. Yeah,
every day she plays Elder Scrolls Online, like every day, but she plays on Xbox, and you can tell that from, and especially if you played from the beginning in the beta where that game it looked like it was gonna
mm.
die a swift death. Till now, it's just like, damn, that's
Yeah.
the
This year
remake.
they said they had their highest amount of players ever this
I
year.
mean, nobody's got anything to do. Might as well hop into a
Yeah, I
daily.
mean, exactly. Like that's what I was like. Well, of course it was your best year ever because of COVID, but
Yeah,
uh,
I mean, I bet you tons of games numbered. Final Fantasy probably exploded. I know Destiny
mhm.
exploded. There's
But here's
tons
the
of games.
here's the thing though is that ESO has so much to do in it, and
Yes.
then like for the past few years, because they have their big expansion every June, it adds a whole new zone,
Hmm.
which a few years ago, like 3 years ago, that was Morrowind, where they added all of the Morrowind content in there, in the land of Vardenfell. last year they added Skyrim, the Skyrim lands into it.
Jesus,
So, like
can't go
if you
wrong.
want a good storyline to play through these different areas, and I mean, you basically get to see most of the map of the Elder Scrolls in one game, um, and just so many different locations that have, you know, different types of creatures, different types of land mass,
Hmm.
different climates. Like, I mean, it's all just like every place you go feels like its own unique uh, place to go visit. Like, I mean, there's just a ton to do in that game, and it's literally thousands of hours of stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't
So,
know. Like I've never played Final Fantasy Realm Reborn, but I would say ESO's probably the biggest online world. Oh, World of Warcraft is pretty big too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and WoW's just has that advantage of being around for so long.
Yeah,
Um,
but like there's also a lot of places in WoW that unless you're doing certain types of things, you will never go
mm,
to, but you'll go everywhere in ESO.
yeah, yeah.
Like
There's just a ton to do, no matter where you're at in ESO, and they like the stuff they keep adding is still quality.
it's on
Uh,
Game Pass, right? If people haven't started it.
yes,
So
yeah, it's
there
on
you go.
Game Pass. I think with the Game Pass version has the base game plus the Morrowind expansion, if I remember right.
I think I need to
Um,
get that.
so,
I'm behind
but
on DLCs, man. Like I go to start and I'm like, okay, like I'm gonna start the Morrowind or I'm gonna buy it, I'm gonna buy the Cyrodiil, and then I'm just like, but I don't have time. The same reason I don't commit to a Star Wars subscription because I don't have time.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
they definitely take up a lot of time. That's both the upside and the downside. Uh, is they're
you
very
ain't
time
never
consuming.
lied.
So,
I mean, I just
but
stopped playing Red Dead online because I'm like, because it has every 28 days, it'll reset all your like your daily progress, and I'm just like, man, do I want to keep doing this?
yeah,
Like, I'm building
yeah, I
towards
can I can
nothing.
see that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. ESO just also did a big sweeping change. The champion point system that they used to have used to go up to 810, which basically for ESO you level up to 50. Once you're at 50, you would get what they call champion points, which would give you like little points to put in little places that would give you like various little percentage increases in like your damage or your
Oh, kind of like
or
the
whatever.
light levels in Destiny.
Very similar, yeah.
Okay,
Um, so they used to max out at 810 in the first champion point system, which they call Champion Points 1.0. And it they've been redesigning that for like a year. Um,
Jesus.
and they came out with Champion Point 2.0 now, which completely changed it. Uh, Essentially, you put points in various different things now. They separated how the tiers went, like the certain things each, because there's like three different sections of where to put points. It's like warfare, which is
Mm.
all your combat stuff, crafting, which is all your crafting stuff, and then I forget what the third one's called, but it's basically like magic and stuff like that.
Man, I need to
Um,
hop back on. This is wild.
yeah, but they separated it out, but they also changed the the light level you could get to per se,
Mm.
which again the champion point used to be 810. Now it's like 3600.
Jesus.
Um, they did make it so that you could accumulate the points quicker. Um, so like so that's a plus, but yeah, it's they changed a lot, and it seems like a change for the better because at least in my character and use it in redistributing these new champion points, I find myself to be more powerful than I was. So and I'm only at like 500 CP
Jesus.
currently on PC.
I need
Um,
to hustle it up. Damn.
yeah, so but
I'm behind on everything. Jesus.
but yeah, I mean that's because like I power game and use stuff to the advantage. Like right now they have the Jesters Festival is running, and they have a thing where if it's like a reusable token, this pie that you can eat. When you eat it, it doubles your XP
Oh, Jesus.
gain. So, and you can eat it every 2 hours to give you double XP. So,
So you're
so
power
I mean,
gaming, but I'm finished Dragon Age Inquisitions.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's
I
how I
mean,
roll.
we all got our
But it's
thing.
like, but at the same time, it's like I know this event is only happening for a week, so
Exactly. Might as well.
I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
I'll play this week and get a bunch of levels now, and then and then after that I'll just go on for my dailies for like a couple weeks and not do anything else. So
See, that's smart. That's the way to play it. Then you. Well, I had to stop playing Eve. Eve. Oh, oh.
I
Um,
I don't even want to get into something like Eve. Like,
I like had to uninstall it because it was so like I didn't get any videos done. I didn't get any reviews done. It was bad. I was like, oh my god.
playing Eve online is just basically getting a second job, is what that is.
Yeah,
And
quite easily. Yep.
yeah, that's I ain't about that. So, um,
Come on, you know you
but yeah,
wanna.
no, there's a lot like you can go out there and you can read a lot of cool stories about Eve and these big battles that happen and all that stuff.
Yeah,
And I would encourage anybody to go read these stories.
they're cool.
But know that like literally to get to the point of these stories, there were literally thousands of hours that had to go of tedious stuff that had to go into uh, mining whatever they had to do to build these massive ships to get to this point. So
Mm-hmm.
like it's literally like I
Like
don't think I would ever put in the time to actually participate in any of these things,
no,
but I love hearing the stories behind of what people have done in that game because it's really cool.
like those are the people
Um,
that literally make money off of Eve because they play it so much.
yeah, yeah,
Like it is their
exactly.
job technically. That's
Yeah,
yeah. I don't know if I love
yeah,
any
it's
game that
crazy.
much.
Yeah, I mean, I love video games and I love, but I also love having a variety of games to choose from and
Yep.
playing different games. So I don't think I could dedicate my life so much to one game to do that, but to each their own.
Yeah, teach your own. Have your fun. Like the people who speedrun Resident Evil or speedrun any game, but for me the Resident Evil 4 and they got hundreds of thousands of hours and I'm like, did y'all play anything else? No.
The answer is no.
Dang, I love video games and the cool things and the varieties and the next gen titles that are coming up to be stuck to one game.
Mhm.
Uh, Speaking of next gen, but retro next gen, Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. Wii Sports was killer. I think
Yeah,
Wii Sports is still one of the most top selling games on a Nintendo console of all time.
yeah. I mean, so Wii Sports was both the best thing and the biggest detriment to happen to the Wii that ever existed. It was a detriment because people bought the Wii, got Wii Sports, and then did not buy anything else. Uh,
Yeah, that's true.
so literally, there were so many people that did not buy anything else that all they played was Wii Sports on that Wii, and it's insane. Um, but in the long run, it probably hurt Nintendo. Even though the Wii sold really well, um, just because there were a bunch of people that weren't buying anything else and not buying their games and that sort of thing. And And yeah, so that was the Wii generation. But
Poor Wii.
Wii Sports was really well done. It was awesome.
It
I
really was.
like I just remember sitting in my living room with a group of friends playing playing bowling or playing golf
Hmm.
or you know boxing with friends like that it worked. Like it
Yeah.
worked really well. Like I mean it that yeah,
Can't
it was a true next gen experience.
you can't say anything
Like
bad about it because it at that time motion tracking was iffy before that, but they did it so well, and it was
yeah,
in
it
such a package that was available to everybody.
yeah, and as Fame just said, Wii Sports was fire. It
Wii
was.
Sports is far, man. Fame,
Like
you should be in bed.
it
Fame's
was
I've been
it was
keeping him up, but he needs to go to sleep, man.
Wii Sports truly was the milkshake that brought all the boys to the yard.
Oh
Um,
my god.
it and I mean it in that sense though, like everybody was all about it. You got old people in nursing homes playing video games for the first time, playing Wii Sports
That's
because it was
true.
something new, and but it was something new, but it was something familiar to them because
Yeah.
maybe they had played golf when they were younger, maybe they had bowled when they were younger, uh, maybe they had played baseball when they were younger, and
And
now
had
they
to
could do that again in a video game in their home environment,
not have to go
and
outside.
exactly like, and that allowed people to do a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, Wii Sports was definitely like a moment in time
A
for
good
video
moment.
games,
We would
and
like
and
to play
then
with you.
and it also forced Microsoft and Sony to try to replicate it and fail
Yes.
at doing so with the Kinect and the PlayStation Move.
Yes.
So,
You know,
um,
it's and this cracks me up is I have a PlayStation Move because I do play some of the Move games. I'm probably one of the only person I know that ever owned
I
a
have
Move.
one.
Oh, put it
I
up.
also have the PlayStation Move. I honestly, I think the Move controller is actually really good.
They
Um,
use it for VR. I mean, damn.
yeah, uh, Fame said that's my secret. I'm always in bed.
I don't know about that. Usually you're always on the toilet, boy. Not bad. You and the Porcelain King. That's your throne.
Well, I mean, he
Sometimes
just he maybe he got a toilet installed in his bed.
that would just be. I'd fly down there right now and be like, "Get up, you lazy ass! You are not having a toilet in your bed. That's nasty."
Yeah, it'd be weird, but
People are weird
uh,
though. But man, the Wii.
that's true. But
I think that
yeah,
was the perfect game for the Wii too, because I mean, Call of
it
Duty was
was.
awful. Mario was real good though. Although I like
Yeah,
the
any
second one better.
that's the thing. Like anything Nintendo first party, I think was generally pretty great. Whereas the third party companies had a hard time adjusting. So for the most part, like some games worked well. Like I thought Resident Evil 4 actually played pretty well on it
It did.
with being able to aim the controller. And some games did well with aiming the controller while others didn't. It
Yeah.
just depended on the developer.
It's like what
So
we were talking about earlier with the voice chat and proximity chat.
yeah,
It's there's so many good things and all this that should and could have gone forward but never did. But now in hindsight we
yeah,
can be like, you know what? That was really good. A
yep,
man can dream of what,
exactly.
Fame? Taking dookies in your bed? You ain't in your 80s and 90s. You can't be doing that yet. You know your wife would smother you. What is this? Oh, I was like, what? Can't see what that is. GTA.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And we talked about that. Yeah,
GTA 3
that's
was,
yeah,
man, I bought my PlayStation with the GTA 3.
yeah. I think that was a lot of what people played for sure.
Damn, that was such a man. I miss the old school days. Some feels good. What's this?
Those were
Halo.
the days.
Oh, Halo and Halo Infinite, whatever the possibility. I mean,
Mm,
I agree with you. I've only just started playing Halo, and I think that most of their stuff is next gen and revolutionary from what
yeah,
I've played, especially the Master Chief
yeah. I mean,
Collection.
they've always done a good job. At least when it was Bungie, for sure, always did a good job of raising the bar for
Hmm.
what Halo could do with each iteration. And I even think 343 did a great job with 4, and then they did a great job with the multiplayer of 5 and kind of fumbled the single player.
Yeah,
But you know, you listen to interviews with the team, and they think they understand that. So
yeah,
I'm glad that Microsoft has given them an extra year to hit the ground running and making sure that Infinite is a great game, because I know they can make a great game.
hell yeah.
Um, so I'm
Like,
hoping this year gives them what they need for it to come out swinging, and for us to be like, yeah, this is Halo,
I
and they're
mean,
bringing it.
we talked about this on a couple times on the 2XP, which is tomorrow. Uh, you can tell, without a doubt, they meant to release Halo today. I mean, all
Oh,
the
for
double
sure.
XP stuff, the outfits, like all the codes that came out with the food and stuff. But I am glad they
Oh
did
yeah,
not pull an EA. I am glad they gave it time to cook because uh Andromeda, Anthem, No Man's Sky. There some games you just need to let them rest in the oven before you pull them out. They ain't
yeah.
ready yet, baby. Let them
It
rest.
it takes a lot of it's very takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to decide to let them develop a game for another year. When
Yeah.
it could come out, it would make them money because it has the name.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Cyberpunk.
but if it's disappointing, it would also possibly be the last in the series.
Yes.
So I think if they want the series to continue, which obviously they do, it was just in their best interest to let them have another year, and I think that that's for the best because I think uh, that extra year will just show how much more polish could go on the game,
Yeah.
um, and just to have a better experience overall. So uh,
Sometimes you
it
need
was
to let
much
it cook.
needed.
Yeah, exactly. Let it cook, let it breathe. Life, man.
Yeah, I mean exactly. It's so hard. It's so hard to make these decisions, especially when you're a big publicly traded company. I mean, I'm sure that wasn't, you know, for a guy like Phil Spencer, I'm sure it wasn't he wasn't like, oh, well, maybe we should push this back. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
more just
A whole board
I
to
think,
push you.
yeah, I'm sure he had to go to even his superiors and say, hey, look, we need, you know, more time with this to make it what it should be, what it could be. And I'm sure it was not an easy decision
No.
because you're a publicly traded company, and everything you do is scrutinized by your shareholders and by Wall Street. And if
And
you make a
those,
wrong move,
yep.
then they devalue your company.
And
And
as
it's
important as the gamers are, we know that at the end of the day, Wall Street and the boards are really the people that these companies are going to listen to because they're the ones that can pull funding, pull projects, pull investors. So,
and it's why we see so many of these games that come out when they should have had 6 more months.
hmm
So you know, I give credit to any publisher that is willing to push back their game for the sake of making it better. Um,
or take the
because
time to work on it.
obviously, yeah, like obviously you see a game like Cyberpunk,
Mm,
and it should have had another. It probably should have had another year in the tank.
easy.
But But when you're in that power position of other people breathing down your neck, and you have to make a choice, it's
Yeah,
like, it sucks. It has to be a terrible position to be in.
it really
To
does.
either put out a you know put out a game that's going to be broken for a lot of people, or make people wait another year, and either decision is going to hurt your shareholders.
Yeah.
But which one is going to hurt them more? It's like, I don't want to be in that position.
No, no,
It's
that's some big $1 billion, $1 million decisions that I would never want to be responsible for.
Yeah, and
Because then
it's
you get
one of
people
those
like
things where
us.
it's like, everybody can sit here and talk about, well, bringing out Cyberpunk was the wrong decision, and maybe it
Yeah,
was, but it's like,
they might not have had a choice.
yeah, like, it was one of those things where it's like, well, we don't actually have all of the information to make that decision.
But every
They have
armchair
more,
quarterback.
yeah, it's like, but when you have that much responsibility weighing on you, it's like, how are you going to make that decision? And it's rough. Like, I don't know what the right decision was. I still don't know whether they should have released it or whether they pushed it back. I mean, the
Yeah,
gamer in me says, yeah, I wish they'd have pushed it back. But, I also have an understanding, even if it's a remedial understanding of how the business world works and all that, and like, I understand why they released it. So
yeah,
it's like, that's
exactly.
that's where, like, I'm super conflicted about it.
I'm not in
Um,
their boardroom. I don't know.
yeah. So, it's at the end of the day, Jimmy, the guy that's working on the line of code, that powers you walking down the street in Cyberpunk, he doesn't want to come out with a bad game.
Hmm.
Like Sam, who's doing the artwork for this cool sequence that is being shown here in the middle of the game, uh, doesn't have a choice in this. He just wants to make something cool that you'll look at and be like, "Hey, that's cool."
Yeah,
You know,
they just
like,
want to make a good product for you. So don't yell at them.
exactly.
Don't
Like,
degrade them.
there's just so many like, hardworking people that work on these games that just want to make something good, that it sucks that a decision made by someone above them uh essentially hurts the cool thing that they want to release to you.
Yep.
um and it's just, yeah, it sucks. It sucks for everybody. It really kind of does. It's like, it is, to bring in Star Trek, it was a
Nerd.
Kobayashi Maru. It was
Nerd.
a no-win scenario. So,
Nerd.
uh, I am, I am, but
So
it was a total Kobayashi Maru. It was a no-win scenario. Uh,
simple as that. I think
yeah. So,
what we can gather from our talk was we're nowhere near the next this next gen, but next gen is also starting to mean different things. It's not visual fidelity anymore. It's
mm,
not the new character models. It could be blowing on oh god, blowing on your controller. It could be small little gameplay changes that is the new next gen thing because we're such a fidelity that doesn't matter anymore. But it's only in hindsight that we
and
can
it's
look at the next gen.
and it's so hard to tell what will be the next thing.
Yeah,
Like, what's the next thing that's going to take off? Like,
exactly.
you get introduced to something like the Wii, and then you're just like, what? You can move it? Like, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many people, like, I was the guy sitting in a GameStop that saw the announcement and had to take pre-orders for that thing. And
Jesus.
then, like, obviously there's a ton of people excited, but then you get other people like, that's stupid. Like, why would, or be like, the Wii, what kind of name is that?
It's a name. I don't know. I
Like,
didn't name it, sir.
yeah, it's like, you know, but
Yeah.
at the same time, it's like no one expected it to become what it became.
No.
Like this big cultural thing that brought in a ton of people that weren't even gamers
I mean,
into
look at
playing
Among
games.
Us.
Yeah,
That's the. I
exactly.
mean, Fall Guys died very quickly, unfortunately. Still a good game, but man, Among Us.
Yeah,
Whoa.
but Among Us was out for a year and no
Yeah.
one talked about it. And then it just randomly got streamed by someone
Mm-hmm.
and then it took off like crazy. And now they've added developers. Like I just saw they announced that they added 2 new programmers to their team.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they're adding a good staff like um, their their community and PR person Victoria Tran, who does a very awesome job. And she did some really awesome things for her previous studio. Like she's a very very cool and knowledgeable community and PR person. So, and the fact that they got her to do that stuff and that that team's doing a good job of growing, uh, taking advantage of of this phenomena that just happened for them.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully they'll continue and they're doing more with that game. They're adding more to that game,
Yep.
and you know re-supporting the people who have come to support them, and that's always a good sign. So,
It
so
is.
when they make their next game, they'll have
Yeah.
probably another hit. So
Hopefully.
good for them.
I'd hate to sit down here in 10 years and be like, ah, remember that like one hit wonder studio that went out of business? I'd be like, oh yeah, they're still flourishing today, doing their thing.
Yeah, yeah. Like I definitely like to see that more than I mean, because we know tons of stuff where it's like, hey, what happened to that studio that made that game that one time?
Yeah.
So
Fame, before we get on out of here and start doing our outros, Fame says, I want a game where I can feel pain, but some people might or most likely repurpose it for porn. There was a
oh
studio,
yeah,
no, a company that was making a vest that would feel like you were being shot, but that got shut down very quickly.
oh yeah, yeah. It's a hard it's a hard sell to do anything like that.
Yeah, let me
It's
torture you.
yeah, yeah.
But
It's
yeah, that's
stuff
I don't
like
know if
that,
that'll
and
ever happen.
yeah, I don't see it. Um, I could see something where it's like I could see something where it's like haptic feedback to kind of like put you more in it, like to where you might like feel a little bit of pressure, like you know, here or
Yeah,
there. Nothing that's gonna hurt you, but to where like you can tell where stuff's happening or hitting or whatever based on like a haptic feedback suit or something like that.
yeah,
Um, but I also feel like something like that would be so expensive
yeah.
that
Nobody would be able to afford it.
yeah, so it's like it's not gonna happen for a while.
It was like that
So
treadmill that came out, the multi-directional treadmill that you could like run in game and it would move with you. It's like
yeah.
that thing died very quickly as well.
Yeah, I mean, these are like they're cool tech experiments for sure. It's just if it's not affordable, it's never gonna take off in the way that they would need it to.
That's why VR is
Unfortunately,
struggling, man. Especially, man, that's so expensive.
yeah, it is. Like I really want VR to be more affordable because I really want to play Half-Life Alex. Like I
Oh,
really want to play
so
that
worth
damn
it.
game.
Yeah,
Um, but it's like I also don't want to spend $1,000 to play a game.
and then
Um,
have to have your room set up right, and yeah, it's
yeah,
just too
yeah.
much.
It's a lot. It's a lot of setup.
That next
But
gen is gonna
yeah, it'll
take
be
a while.
interesting. Yeah, yeah, that's why I don't know if VR is quite the next gen thing. Like
No,
I think honestly, I think if VR got adopted more on a mainstream level, both other than games, maybe. It would have to be more affordable though, but I could see people like I've I've seen some stuff in VR firsthand where They've done some stuff with like sporting events and that. I've seen literally a WWE event in a VR headset
That's cool.
where literally you can like look around 360 and see everything that's happening in the arena around where it was what was going on, like the match is happening in the ring, but you can like look to your right and see the announcers sitting there and like having a conversation between themselves, like because
That's
that's
cool.
just what's happening in the arena, like stuff like that. Like I think that aspect would be really quick, and you could totally do that. You could sell these kind of live experiences for like a you know
Hmm.
something like WWE, or even like a football game or a basketball game, or
Yeah,
et cetera, et cetera. Like I think that's where, as long as it's affordable, VR could really take off. It's just trying to get that into people's hands in an affordable way is the
it's so hard.
barrier.
I mean,
Yeah.
VR should have taken off during quarantine. There's really no reason why it
Yeah.
shouldn't have, but it didn't,
It's just
unfortunately.
not affordable. Like
Yeah,
for the average person, it's just not like the most affordable VR stuff. I mean, other than having like a small thing for your phone, maybe
yeah,
is like the next most affordable is a PlayStation VR, and
yeah,
even that's 300 or 400 bucks.
yeah.
Um,
Like
but
I've seen VR in educational. Like there's a one I was watching. They were doing like a space shuttle, no ISS
mm,
walkthrough, and
yeah,
pointing out the different stuff, and that was cool. But I'm like, there's not very many people like me that will sit here and watch a whole walking through of the space station.
yeah,
There is a lot of people, but not enough to justify VR.
right, yeah. There has to be like a popular use of it.
Yeah.
Um, if you can get it to go off and become popular, then you can see that those more niche pockets that'll pop up because there's an adoption rate. So we kind of need that high adoption rate of something
Mhm.
popular to pop off before we can, and that's essentially that's why it's hard to be a VR developer right now and getting your game to sell.
Can't
Um,
imagine. Same says
like
he wants VR to take off really badly. VR could be in sports could have been big, especially during COVID. I think, yeah, instead of showing up
yeah,
to a game and risking COVID, or even if you're allowed to go there, because we're not allowed
yeah. I
here.
mean, yeah. If you could you could sell Super Bowl tickets in a VR headset, and you
Yeah,
could
but we're
literally
thinking
watch.
smart. They're not.
Yeah, I mean, but being able to sit there and actually watch from the 50-yard line, that's
Would be
like,
cool.
yeah, it's such a cool experience that,
And you
like,
can
I
sell an
don't
unlimited
understand
amount of tickets too.
exactly. Like, I don't understand why they're not doing this. Like, why is somebody not like
Because
doing this right now?
gaming
But
and all that stuff isn't real to them. They still think
yeah,
it's boo boo.
yeah,
But that's
there's
on
definitely
them.
there's definitely that barrier still.
Well,
Um,
wherever there's a hole, and don't take this out of context, but wherever there's a hole in something, somebody will fill it. No matter with technology, with a different app, with a different way to do it, there's always going to be somebody to fill that hole. I
so
think
your
Pirate's
takeaway for
asleep.
tonight is hashtag fill them holes.
Trevor said it, not me. I didn't. I didn't say it. I think our takeaway from tonight is next gen is like everything is subjective. Um,
For
but
sure, yeah.
for the PS5 and Xbox, we're not there yet. But we will be. It's going to be
We will be.
interesting.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see what those next gen experiences will take off. Like I think what people were saying earlier with Astro's Playroom. I think it shows you the promise of what the haptic feedback of the PlayStation controller can do, and
Mhm.
that is truly next gen. But I want to see someone take that to a full game experience and show us what that can be, if
Right?
that makes any sense. So,
That'll be so cool.
um, yeah, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like if you're a third party developer, are they going to spend the resources to do that, especially if they're developing games for multiple systems? Probably not. So it's probably going to be an internal Sony team that does it because they're only making games for PlayStation.
Yeah.
So
I
we'll
mean,
see. We'll
hey,
see where that goes.
it's gonna be
So
the future is bright and dark, but bright at the same time. It, it's gonna be something to look forward to, and I mean, we still have some big titles to actually see stuff from and see what they're gonna. I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with Hellblade, what they're gonna do with God of War, because those there's gotta. I mean, they can do this. Stop fame. We don't need hashtag fill them holes. Oh God,
yeah, that's the
see what
hashtag
you've
right
done.
there.
See what you've done. Oh God, now I've lost my train of thought. But if you guys want to see us cover more things like this, leave it in the comment section. I will go back and pick and pull, or you can tweet at us. Our hashtag, our no, our names are right under us.
Yeah,
Please,
just tweet at us with hashtag fill them
no,
holes.
please don't.
Yeah.
Fame, how about we don't tweet out "Do we touch" either? No, that was man. If you would like to see more of us, we are live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to see more of me tomorrow, 2XP Podcast. Same time that this goes live. Thursday. Unless there's a lot of stuff to talk about, Fame and I are going to be continuing It Takes Two. So come and tune in for that, because there's always some dumbass comment that I make that gets clipped, and it haunts me
It
forever.
takes two,
Baby.
baby.
Friday, Eve Games. Saturday, Ready Press Play. And Sunday, we rest, because it's the Lord's Day. And if we finish on Thursday, 15 Minutes of Fame will be back on Monday. If not, we might play a little bit more of It Takes Two. We don't know how long it is, and that's what she said. I'm the Floor Hugger. If you want to get all your gaming news, if you want to be a writer, if you want to just hang out, come to. It's been rolling on the screen for the last like 20 minutes. Level 1 Gaming. If you want to be even bigger supporter, our Level 1, even though we've reached our goal on Extra Life, there's there's a little bit more space right there to put maybe like $2 in. All of it goes to the kids. We keep absolutely none of it. Or if you want to hold on to your cash, we'll be doing another charity right quick here. I hope you guys support us like you have been. You guys have been amazing, helping us grow. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to tweet this out. Make sure to tell your grandma. Grandma might have some input. You never know. Grandma, she could be a bad bitch. But I've been the Floor Hugger. Trevor, tell the people where they can find you and who you are.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Trevor Oz. That's OSZ. It's like the Wizard of with an S in the middle. And yeah, I talk about random stuff and tweet about video game stuff and all that fun stuff. So yeah, definitely follow me. You can check out the game I'm working on, externusgaming.com. You can try our pre-alpha demo. If all goes well, we should be releasing some new stuff about the game here in the next month is what we're planning. So be on the lookout for that.
Woo.
And yeah, thanks for watching and listening, and definitely check us out on iTunes as well. Rate, review, and subscribe on there. If you review us, maybe we'll read it at some point here, because we appreciate that. And it just helps more people come to this right here to see and watch and listen on the weekly. So, and that's our goal, is to get more of you to come here and talk to us one-on-one and join the conversation. So thank you guys that do that. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Fame. Thank you, Hustle. Thank you, Flames. Or thank you, G Brown. I think that was a new name. Thank you, Phil.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for being awesome. And we'll see you guys. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, but we'll see you next Tuesday. And don't do anything bad, because I will hear about it. Bye, guys.
Level up, never lose, should've had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Level up, tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Never lose, should've had better luck. I'ma wake 'em up from a slumber. Money ain't nothing but a thing, and the level ain't nothing but a number. Life ain't nothing but a game. Level up. level up. Never lose, shoulda had better luck. Tryna see a check, I'ma run it up. Yeah, I do a lot, still ain't done enough. Ball. Waking up meant that he gave me a chance and I'm rolling the dice. I do it all, living like I'm tryna go for the platinum trophy in life. Who can you call? Really nobody, so you should just follow me on your device. And know if she chillin' with me, then it's bound to be chemical X and the sugar and spice. Game in the system, but game is the hobby.